This is Jonah Hill, and you're listening to the only podcast that matters.
Throw Gang, we are joined by the king of ACAB, the top shelf titan, the gourmand grand poobah, the prince of protest, the Crown Heights head honcho, foreman of the flex, the big bozo basher, the FTP MVP, maestro of the mixer, the fuck 12 pharaoh, always on the ones and twos, but number one in our hearts. The voice smooth, but the brain ain't. He's a DJ, activist, and all-around good human, Lucas Top Shelf Tyson.
The Top Shelf Tyson. Tap in.
Thanks for having me, fellas. Appreciate
What's good?
Yo, with the buttery voice, but the very rigid and tactile brain.
Just pacing around the curb, trying to hit your 10,000 steps. Maybe you didn't hit up a protest today or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
for real.
The knees aren't what they used to be.
Yeah, God, you know what it is, man. We need extra cushioning, mad stability, comfortable socks.
Speaking of stability, let's talk about the fit check. I'm actually as someone who has had the pleasure of FaceTiming with you, you're a big pacer. You're a pacer. You're like a samurai walking the earth, a Ronin in contemplation, if you will.
You're like Rick Smits, but less Dutch and white.
Facts. That's facts.
Oh, I see. I thought I was gonna say, was Rick Smith like a fucking Shogun?
That's a sports reference.
No, I'm aware. Yo, Lucas, you want to start top down or bottom up on the fit check, bro? Choices.
Let's start top down.
Oh, what? God.
Yeah. No, it's a new era, man. We started
literally a new era.
It's literally a new era.
Wait, are you, because all cops are bastards, they're not even in the equation now? Because going top down is cop-like behavior.
You think so?
We know so. We wrote the book on this.
Well, I'm going to be honest. We're in the house right now, so I'm standing next to a pair of shoes. I'm not actually wearing a pair of shoes.
You have socks on?
No, I go barefoot.
It's funny, whenever we're in the stew, people like instinctively go bottom up. But ever since we kind of been doing this shit off Zoom, people, I think because they see themselves, you are visible to yourself. They just they go with what they see, which is like, the top, like the shirt usually. So
you're saying our guests are like infants learning object permanence and seeing themselves in the mirror.
I think it's like the medium is the message. Marshall McLuhan, you know what I mean?
Wait, so Lucas, so you're totally barefoot. One, why don't you show feet, sweetie, and then two, bro. Confirm 10 toes down.
He in the racist podcast showing feats. Just kidding. We're anti-racist.
Yeah, obviously. Thanks, James. This guy works for himself for 1 week and he's like, fuck it. Let's just be racist. What's the nearest footwear? Let's just use that as a placeholder. What was that?
So we got the white Birks, Bostons. You know what it is. That's probably been the biggest breakthrough for me footwear wise. It's like I was very resistant to Birkenstocks forever, and then I finally got my first pair, and I was like, "There's no going back." Like that's what it is.
Is it like the wave? Is it no? I mean,
yeah. Not anymore, actually.
Our white leather Birkenstock Boston's the wave. Excuse me, because I got a pair. James got a pair. We both got a pair from
I got two pairs.
Well, you have the Our Legacy workshop shit, right?
Yes.
That's like all beautifully.
You got the handcrafted,
scribbled on.
Yeah, and James Natty Wine splattered his, right?
Yeah, on day one.
They're Margellas now.
Yeah.
I got semen on them. Now they're Margellas.
And then we got game warns from R.I.P. Indebted, you dead bitch. Great sitcom that is no longer on NBC. Shout out our close personal celebrity friend Adam Pally, and then his buddy Dan Levy, who I guess is also our friend too, but he's definitely not a celebrity. Why did you cop white Bostons, Lucas?
Oh, that was a size restriction. Like because for me it's like usually I got to order shit off the internet. Like most stores don't stock my size, so I copped what they had in a size 15. And
I'm sorry, what?
Size 15.
Ladies.
It matches the voice.
Ladies.
Hey, ladies. Yeah.
We'll get to fapping and clapping later, but size 15.
So you had no options. You had to go for the phlebotomy 12s.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is though, I copped the Sam suede joints too.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Those are actually on the way, but I had to search for that shit. Like it wasn't on the Birkenstock website, and they were not trying to help out the kids. So I was like,
those are for sure. I think two of the top 5 colorways. I think I have a pair of those. I think Lawrence has a pair of those as well. Just the Sam tobacco suede. Yeah.
I've had gray suede, navy suede, and now the white ones that I rock. The white ones are cool, but I wonder how many if you and I linked up in person, we both had those on. Is that we did the Spider-Man meme? That could be a wrap on the whites.
Yeah. That's a little bit much. Much.
It's too weird to be. You can't be with a bunch of people wearing those.
Luckily, that's not a problem anymore.
Yeah,
we ain't gonna bump into each other anytime soon. So.
What's the footwear of choice when you're protesting for social justice and progress towards a more just and equitable world?
So I was doing the New Balance 990s, but I just had the little breakthrough. I copped some fucking extra orthopedic Hoka Ones. Now I'm ready. Now I'm good to go.
The cop stompers.
Yo, for real. It's I can't believe I'm 6'10" in these shits. First of all, the sole is fucking huge, but I never had a shoe that comfortable before. It's crazy. Because that first week, it's I think I walked 60 miles or something in over 8 days, and my body was fucking kicking. I was I can't do this anymore.
Are they a crazy bright color scheme, or is it?
No, black on black. Come on, boy.
Do you feel extra powerful going from 6'7" to 6'10", or is it almost like a 180 where you're yo, I'm a freak now?
Yo, I couldn't even, to be honest with you, I didn't even notice the difference until I was walking through doors and I had to hit the extra, you know what I mean? I had to bend, duck a little bit, I was oh shit, I'm up there right now. But yeah, they're so light, they're mad comfortable and breathable. So it's
mad easy to dunk on a cop. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, absolutely. I feel I want to kick someone in one of these, but I don't know if it would really work because the sole is mad pushy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little massage.
Thank you, sir. Can I have another?
As the Prince of Protest, what would be your top piece of fashion advice for attending a protest, whether that's form or function wise, or maybe one or the other? You're the expert. I'll let you kind of. But what? Because you've been at a lot of these now, so I'm just curious what you've gleaned from a performance activewear standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, basically, well, okay, so they're they say wear all black, cover up any. I don't have tattoos, so I don't have shit.
No identifying shit.
Yeah, no identifying marks, right? However, I'll be standing in a crowd of 2,000 people, with a hat, glasses, and a mask on, and people will be Lucas Malcolm Tyson, throw my whole government shit out. So I'm is there even a point to me trying to blend in? You know what I mean? But
what you're saying is the FBI already has your social on Deckington.
100% blood samples, fingerprints, But no, I mean, for me, it's I basically comfortable shoes is a must. Because you have to be able, you can't wear shit that you can't run in because there's a lot of times you have to run. And I've been the go-to pant has been a cargo, the 18 East, the Goreckis. That's how I saw when you guys were giving it away. I was yo, this is perfect. I just road tested these shits. They're actually ideal because they're they're breathable, but not
You're the Get Active God. You're the Get Active.
Yeah. You had the tweet. You had the tweet that we screen grabbed for the 24-hour feed post because it was you can run in them, you can carry big, heavy things in the pockets, and perfect for killing cops in.
Good title. Get Active TM. You want to kill a cop? Get active. Get some Gorecki on. Retweets are not endorsements. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Antonio, if you're listening, Jimmy Gorecki, if you're listening, this is our own thing. This is what we're the only ones advocating.
This editorial, little editorial livelihood. But yeah, and then
little license, editorial license.
Yeah, there you go. And then and then on the top, usually I'll wear a mesh football top, a long sleeve one. So it's basically because it's hot as fuck outside. You're walking around forever, so you want something that still covers you and is breathable. And then some type of usually Yankees hat or some shit. and I caught these fucking goggles, like these safety goggles.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I was like, yeah, and it's like, yo, because it's like you could fit them over sunglasses and shit, but most importantly, you want to keep your eyes protected. Like it's not good for like tear gas, but
you look like Lady Gaga in woodshop class, bro.
Yo, no shits. Actually, they're kind of fly. Like I was like, damn, this looks dope. Like
very fly.
Yeah. Are you
pulling up with the heat resistant gloves and like that type and like the lawyer numbers written on your body? Because you're going to more hardcore protests than I am. I know that.
I do the lawyer number usually on like my forearm or my calf. Shout out to Sal, it's my lawyer. And then I haven't done the heat resistant gloves, like, because I mean it's not as much of a threat in New York. So really like, I mean, they use tear gas like a couple of times or like mace or whatever. But I did pull up at first. I used to pull up with the plastic gloves for like Rona purposes, you know what I mean? But then I realized it was kind of pointless. The one thing I do roll with every time now is earplugs though. Because cops have this shit called LRAD, which is basically like, it's like some Avengers shit. You know what I mean? It's like basically hitting you with like OD sound waves that can cause like crazy hearing damage. So I'm not trying to be
literally weapons of war, like weapons of modern warfare. It's whatever Chuck is using to fucking murk foos in fucking Warzone. That's what it is.
Yeah, Lucas, before we get too far from the shoes, you told me about a recent Gucci acquisition, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember. Yo. So I finally, welcome to the post sneaker world. Finally got a pair of Gucci loafers.
Welcome, my brother. The fire rises.
1953s black. That shit arrived the week of lockdown.
These are the ones you were telling me about for like 6 months, bro. You were like giving me updates like a fucking pen pal on the Gucci's, dude.
Yo, because I'm like, my problem is like when I make like associations with people in my head, I'll just keep them. You know what I mean? Like I'll just be like, I'm like, oh, Lawrence likes loafers. Let me keep him up to date on my loafer life. You know what I mean?
To be clear, I definitely want to stay in the loop. You don't like. I have nothing happening. That was big for me. Wait, so you had to get them custom? Like, what do you do for a size 15?
No, so the nice thing about Gucci is because it's like an Italian brand, they have big sizes. And like, you know how it is with
for the sausage.
Yeah. Oh. Well, you know, like they have like athletes have
right.
You know, exclusivity clauses and shit with athletic shoes. So that's why designer shit has been coming in bigger sizes these last couple of years.
Are you wearing KD's B-sides? Like
not was like I wish if they had been someone's already owned, that shit would have been much quicker. But I ordered them in December of last year for my birthday. So I'm like, let me get myself a little treat. The shits came in March, son. Like I was fucking sick. Like I was like, God damn. Like I forgot about them for a minute. Like, and then I was like, February, I emailed them. I was like, didn't you guys say this is supposed to like ship out on New Year's or whatever? And they're like, yeah, it'll be there like.
It's a 15
now, bro, or whatever.
Yeah. Base
table loafs, bro.
Yeah, that shit had me tight, man.
Lucas, moving on up to the hindquarters. What
the hiney?
Jesus Christ! You see your overcompensating. What people don't know at home is that Chuck bungled the whole thing, and we're restarting now based on where we presumably were.
Chuck fucked up.
He did.
But we love him because, as the New Yorker says, he is God's perfect angel.
No, that is what I said too.
All right, but it's printed on the NewYorker.com, not print, just digital. Anyway,
I'm not here to argue how much we all love Carlos Chuck Franco. Lucas, what are you wearing, shorts or pants? What do we got on today?
I got shorts. I got on Needles drawstring shorts right now. They got their little indigo dye with a little block print on them.
Before Chuck blew it, we were having a conversation on sizing Needles. You're an XL.
Yes.
Okay. So for anyone listening at home, if you are 6'7", you could get an XL. It's going to work for you. That's all you need.
Yeah, you could do it.
To try and summarize a conversation on sizing is probably like the lamest thing we've ever done. Lucas, do you have a lot of Nepenthes gear from the Nepenthes family?
Yeah, I do.
What's your favorite brand in that umbrella?
I mean, honestly, EG is the OG. You know, it has like, I think just as far as like it's more versatile, I guess. Like you just have like a lot more kind of different looks or whatever. Like I fuck with Needles, but I can't imagine wearing like all needles necessarily. I feel like you kind of sprinkle that in a little bit for a little bit.
It's a little zesty seasoning, you know?
Yeah, a little razzle dazzle, you know.
Yeah,
Come adobo. It's that adobo.
It's like, yeah. I mean, it's like I could pull up in like the blue leopard print, you know, pajamas every day with the loafers on and shit, but someone might call the cops, you know what I mean? Like, who's that pervert over there? You know?
There's a pimp outside of the bodega, and his pimp hand is so strong, and I am so scared. I feel
wearing
like
size 15 loafers.
yeah, and he just threw a size 15 Gucci at Bill de Blasio's head, and he decapitated him.
Bye, you shaved big bird ass bitch. Goodbye, de Blasio. You got
I feel like
go.
Everyone on this Zoom, and definitely in the world that we all come from, EG has the most. I feel like because that's the gateway drug. It has the most nostalgia, emotion attached to it. I personally think that like needles and South 2 Estate, I prefer those, but EG always will be the gateway drug for me. For us, I feel like.
To continue the metaphor that we've been using of Atlanta rappers, I feel like EG is like the Gucci Mane of like menswear right now because it's
the shit. Yeah,
exactly. It was like, you know, it's how you kind of entered, or you know, for non-Atlanta folk, it's how we kind of entered that realm.
Well,
via Gucci.
Well, I don't know. If you look at Nepenthes like YSL Records, then you have, you know, Thugger could be EG. I don't know who was first. What was the first Nepenthes brand? Needles? Like, what was the OG? Because that would
I think, I don't know. This is dumb. Let's move on.
This is the little kid two buff guys. This is that conversation.
My point is that Gunna is South 2 Estate. That's all.
Yeah. Well, actually, I copped my first South 2 Estate piece. It's this like a double tie-dyed mesh gardening hat. And it's like,
you copped that? So I was very seriously debating getting that the last time I was in Japan. And it's pretty wild and out there. I do regret not copping it.
Yeah,
South 2 Estate is making moves.
Yeah, it's saucy. It's definitely
you got to get the tie dye fish landing net next time.
Yeah. Yo, there's like a
gardening cap.
I'm saying I'm trying to walk around looking like a fucking optical illusion, you know? It's just like people like bump into me and shit like a magic eye. Be like, what the fuck? Like
MC Escher type beat.
Yeah, for real.
I found Waldo.
Wait, Lucas, I feel like you're a big advocate for mesh, right? You're a mesh tank guy. I don't know, depending on what we lost via Chuck earlier, you talked about wearing mesh football jerseys to protest.
Yeah, to protest,
so for a dude out there, so mesh is, I think, a tough one. Like, fellas, is it gay to wear, is it gay to be easy breezy, beautiful? Can you sell mesh? What's the elevator pitch on mesh?
Well,
maybe besides the fact that it's, it's a great fabric to get active TM in.
Yeah, no, well, I'll tell you, I mean, one privilege is like, that I have to acknowledge is I dress the way that I can because I can fight. You know what I mean? Like, no one's ever going to say shit to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
that's your privilege that you're acknowledging that you can beat 99.9% of the population's ass.
So that's your superpower.
I'll beat the brakes off someone in short shorts and a mesh shirt, some bike shorts. You know, like no one who's going to say shit to me.
In Berks.
Yeah, in Berks. And like the other thing is I can roast really well too. So it's like if anyone ever tries to catch me slipping, I can just, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna tell you, I mean, for me, the origin of rocking mesh or whatever was, it goes back to the nightlife shit because like I do get very hot, you know what I mean? I'm a big guy and it's like a lot of heat radiating off my body.
Big bozo basher.
Yeah. And then also in like the like mesh tank top is like West Indian shit too. So it's like,
I was going to say, does it come from your Crown Heights upbringing?
Absolutely. And it's like, it's something I grew up seeing, but like never really did because it was like an insecurity type thing. Exactly what we were just talking about. And then honestly, I caught my first mesh tank when I started being like out in the club, like heavy, and I would get like sweaty as fuck, and like my shirt would be all wet and I just flip the shit off. And it's like basically wearing a shirt while not wearing a shirt. You know what I mean? Like it's like about as, yeah, no, literally it's like the shoulders are out, you know what I mean? Like chain is exposed, but yeah. And it's like, it became like, it started as like a functional thing. And then it just became style. Like I like the fabric. I like how it feels, but like breathability is where it's at. You don't be wearing like,
God took his time with those shoulders.
Yeah. The deltoids were sculpted by Jesus himself.
Yeah, you got the whole team on your back. They start to get built. So, but yeah, so it's like it started this function, and I was just like, and honestly, like, I got enough compliments on it from girls, which is what really matters. You know what I mean? Like girls like, oh, that's so sexy. And you're like, okay, well, this is obviously good style,
If you want to keep going with the mesh, South to West 8 makes like mesh pants. Like you could be swinging dong, and they make they call them like swinging dong in the club without actually swinging dong. Like officer, you can't arrest me. These are I'm technically wearing pants. It's just that you can see my dick.
It's facts. I mean, it's like, and that's the other thing too, is like you start to go to like, you start going raving and shit, and it's like you're in some hot fucking warehouse or whatever. You need to be wearing as little clothing as possible, but still covered. And that's just where it's at.
All right, that's
an official endorsement. Yeah, you can't go wrong.
The official uniform of parking lot pimping, dude. Get your mesh game fucking on point for whenever fucking phase 3 might as well be called fucking mesh season, because when that hits, Lucas is in the streets. I know that for a fact. Speaking of then what you're wearing up top, what's the tee today? Is that a Noah tee? Am I reading that correctly?
Noah pocket tee. That's like I got this shit in like 10 different colors.
Let's talk pocket tees real quick, because James and I, we're doing a little R&D. This is breaking news. We're doing some R&D for the first, speaking of phases, the first phase of real TF merch. No bozo behavior.
New revenue streams.
Exactly. Brand new revenue.
Secondary, tertiary.
Yeah.
I don't know what comes after tertiary, quaternary.
Yeah. And we were talking about the merits or lack thereof of pocket tees. And would we do a pocket tee? If we did a pocket tee, did you put a graphic on the pocket? I know, James, you were against that, but are you a pocket tee guy, Lucas? And if Absolutely. So, like, what is that for? The fucking SIGs? Like, what's the deal?
So a pocket tee, I mean, I guess it started like, I guess Noah was probably the first one where they kind of switched me over or whatever. Because I remember when the store first opened, I went and I was obviously hyped. And I don't know if you guys know Will worked there with
Bill
so
Spin, who's now
So I met him back when he was at Nom de Guerre, and then we lost touch, and then I got reintroduced to him through my boss, and he's another big guy too. And like I went to Noah and I was like, yo, this is fire. None of it fits me because they didn't do a double XL yet, And so the one thing that they had was the pocket tee, and I bought it and I was like, yo, this is perfect. Like, because honestly, like I think for me, like I wear a big ass ring, and like whenever I wash my hands, I got to take that shit off, drop it right in the pocket. AirPods, got to take it off for a second, drop it in the pocket. Like if you smoke, same thing there. It's like, it's perfect because it's like, it's an added utility. And like, I think if you guys are going to do it, if you're going to print something, it would be dope to have like just a little logo, you know what I mean? Not like subtle. A big one. Subtle. Yeah.
Subtle
definitely
flex.
Subtle flex. Exactly. But yeah, no, pocket tees are where it's at. Like that's a true
Does anyone
strong endorsement if there ever was one?
Does anyone do pocket tees right now where it's like the graphic is like it kind of like runs over the separation of the t-shirt in the pocket? Ooh. The only person I've really seen do that was Mark McNary, and it looks like a production error, but it's kind of fire because there's separation like in the where the titty meat is.
Yeah, it's intentional.
It sounds a little Virgin Abloh. I feel like that's a little novelty for novelty's sake. I'm not mad at it. Just because we lost some time because of our perfect angel.
Lucas, fallen angel.
Our
cherub.
Lucifer, the TF Lucifer Chuck, who fell from grace quite spectacularly. Lucas, your crown king. Let's talk about this. Is that a fitted?
Yes, it is. It is a fitted.
What's your dome size?
Yeah, size 8 baseball helmet, bro. I mean, it's like my whole body's in proportion. Like I got big ass feet, big ass head, big everything, and like I'll tell you, like, yeah, you know the vibes. And, like, I'll tell you, like, I never, even when like snapbacks were popping off, I was like, man, I can't do it. Physically, really? I could not fit my head in that bitch. Like, it's just like, I couldn't do it. But it's like, this is just.
Wait, Chuck, what size are you? What size is your dome?
I'm almost there. I'm 7 3/4.
Wow.
Ooh, king shit.
Yeah, a lot of thoughts.
I remember when my head was that small.
And what is that? Is that just Yankees new era, or what's the deal?
Yeah, it's a Packers shoes. They did like a night like collab or whatever. But they've been dropping pretty fire exclusive new eras. So my friend put me onto that, and I just scooped this one up. It's like cream color, blue brim, classic shit.
How many hats do you own?
Since quarantine started, I caught more.
Same.
I got like.
Is that a haircut issue? Is that a haircut?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Fuck. Like I was saying earlier, I was like, man, like one of the things I miss the most is like being in a room with my friends and talking big shit. The other thing is, man, I miss fucking haircuts. Like,
phase 2 on Monday, supposedly.
Yeah, no, I'll be ready. I was like literally 2 weeks to the day, every day, getting the fades tuned up, and now it's like.
Has that fucked up your hat sizing? Like having more hair?
No, but it works like a do-rag. Like you just press the shit down. You know what I mean?
What is your? Let's do a cabbage check. What's your shit looking like right now? That's not. I mean, that's not bad. That's fine. Bro.
Yeah, but it poofs. You know what I mean? It's like a fro, and then it just got it got mashed down. You know?
Would you ever grow it like out? Like I'm using, and I think James, we might have talked about this on a boys only podcast, but this idea of, it's like, if I have no choice, like, let me grow it out. Like, fuck it. Like, is that a vibe for you, or you're ready to get it?
Yeah. Well, I did. I'll tell you, like, cause like I have a fade usually. And the biggest adjustment for me was like the part of your shit that you were just flipping in the back, like seeing that like come up from underneath the hat was like fucking me up.
Mullet.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this? Same thing with the side too. I was like, I literally have not had my hair. Like the hair on top or whatever, I'll usually let it grow, and like I'll probably keep it long because I do like how it's going and how it looks. But
that's what honestly, speaking of fucking the homie, wherever he's at, shout out fucking Rob. He's got like volume.
Yeah. No, because Rob used to do the almost like the flat top, like not like the actual flat top. It'd be like completely faded on the side and then high on top. And that's kind of what I do too. But like, honestly, it was driving me fucking crazy. And I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you saw that issue of the cover of Rolling Stone with Bad Bunny on it, but he's got kind of like the quarantine fake fade, you know what I mean? And so I got a barber clippers at home, and my sister came over to visit. I was like, all right, we're doing the homemade haircut. Like we're doing the fake fade. And it's made shit better, to be honest with you.
Oh, she didn't fuck your shit up. She was able to accomplish what she set out to do?
No, yeah, she's precise. I mean, obviously it doesn't look like, nothing is going to replace your barber, but it definitely did the trick for a while.
Nothing replaces.
What do you miss more in quarantine? What do you miss more in quarantine? Your barber or your parents?
Oof.
The warm embrace of your barber.
Well, now I FaceTime my parents, so I definitely have spoken to them more than my barber was. My barber just hit me up at like 3:00 in the morning. We haven't like spoken to each other since this started, and then like he hit me up like 3 times this 1 week, and he hit me up at some like 3:00 in the morning, like reply because I posted a story or a picture of myself in my story. And my hair is out, and she looked like, it looks crazy. Got a big ass beard, big ass hair. And he's like, yo, your hair looking huge, my G. And I was like, ha ha ha. And then he like called me the next morning, and he's like, like, yeah. So yeah, basically he's just like, so like, I set up this little like, he basically set up like a speakeasy for his shit.
Oh shit.
But it's dumb fucking far away. Actually, I'm not gonna say where it's at, but it's far. And I was like, what am I gonna do?
House calls?
No, and that's the thing. I'm like, yo, I thought he was about to be like, yeah, I'm doing house calls. I'm like, bet, let's get it. Right. But he's like, I'm in XYZ neighborhood in XYZ borough. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to get there?
How much would you pay for a haircut right now? If I told you that like you could make it happen instantly, what's your upper limit? I'm very curious. Because you are the biggest proponent of, and this is something I think we all agree with, but a good haircut changes everything about your confidence, 100%. Your mood, everything. So how much would you pay right now to be fully, freshly faded beautifully?
For haircut power? After 3, not that much. It's not that crazy. But I was like, I'm not doing that well in life right now. Like, I'm just like, fuck yeah, let me get that $1,000.
Yeah, we're donating to GoFundMes.
Yeah, exactly. All my fucking haircut bread went out the window. I'd say like maybe like 200, 250. Okay. Like if it was like right tonight, like pull up to my crib, I don't have to do anything crazy. I don't even have to sweep up. 250, easy.
Okay, respect.
You're also the chief of haircut Twitter.
Oh, absolutely. It's because it's like, honestly, that shit is like, just being well-groomed in general will always put you in a good advantage in life, Like people just like look at you different when you have like a fresh cut. Like you walk different, you feel different.
You're
First of
more
all,
aerodynamic.
Yeah, exactly. No drag on the sides, you know. And then just like and talking shit in the barbershop.
My man's
too,
just drafting in the street.
Yeah, you start taking off.
Yeah.
Lucas,
Yeah,
what about the hardware? You mentioned the ring. Do you got anything on right now?
Oh yeah.
Just my chain. I'm at home just chilling. So, but it's like if I go outside, it'll be like I'll wear my, I guess it's not really. It's more like a championship ring. So it's fucking huge.
You suit up. You leave. You walk out the front door. You suit up.
Yeah, exactly.
What about
That's
the pennies? You can't forget the pennies.
Finally, yeah.
Calvin Klein all day. Same as last time,
briefs?
actually. Boxer briefs. Yeah.
Nice. Respect.
Briefs. Shit.
Right.
I'm too thick for briefs, boys.
Fit check complete.
All right, fit check complete.
Thanks, Lucas.
Lucas,
Pleasure.
you actually don't know this because you haven't been on this podcast yet, but the three main subjects of this podcast are money,
Ka-ching.
fapping and clapping, new name, and most importantly, ourselves.
Sure.
Right?
That's what I'm here for.
Aren't we trying out some other stuff? Like, wasn't there another one not fapping and clapping, but another
meats and cheeks? I don't know.
Ooh, meats and cheeks.
Meats and cheeks
Okay. All right. Anyway. Sure.
Or sex and dating. No, that's boring. But let's start with the most important thing, which is ourselves. Lawrence, James, the goddamn motherfucking boys. So, like throwing fits, you have been super successful around harnessing the energy around Fire Johns and raising money for a righteous cause. Obviously, your ACAB, All Cops Are Bastards t-shirt went the fuck off.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, then you just aren't online. How many units did you sell?
Yeah.
It was 550 orders, but a lot of them were like multiple tees. So probably like somewhere around like maybe like 600 shirts in 48 hours.
Your biggest yeet ever, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. Like bigger than the Bernie tees, bigger than anything we do. No losses is like.
Oh, bigger than Bernie Sanders, you bastards!
Yeah.
Were you? Did you think that ACAB would pop harder? I guess, like everyone, like to James's point, the galvanization right now is at a fever pitch, deservedly so. But were you surprised at the success rather of the ACAB joint? I mean, fire design, but you never know.
Well, because it's like, I got like kind of the inner circle of people with good taste that I usually will just like send some shit to, and I'm like, yo, just to make sure I'm not about to put out some bullshit, because like I trust myself, but you got to have like the little, what I mean? Like, you got to have the cabal, like you got to run shit by people sometimes. And everyone I showed it to was like, yeah, it's fire, I'm comping right away. So yeah, I was a little surprised, to be honest with you. I didn't expect it to like hit off like that. But
what were like the initial hopes? Like 100? 200, like,
honestly, anything, you know what I mean? Like, cause I was like, it started with me. Like, I was like, cause one thing that I love that people do now, cause I used to be like very, anti being public about charity shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, you do that shit quietly and you never make it a big thing. But what I realized,
no virtue signaling.
Yeah. And like, what I realize now is that it's like, like it either kind of enables people or shames them, which doesn't really matter which one is which. But like when people see it and they kind of get the opportunity to participate in something, you can get like a much bigger result. So I remember like, first bail fund that I contributed to, I was like, all right, I feel like $100. And I was like, somebody match me. And then like 10 or 15 people matched me. I was like, okay, we just raised $1,500. You know what I mean? And then I was like, and it's the same thing, it's like the same thing with Bernie Sanders. Like, all right, like I can't put up like thousands and thousands and thousands of my own dollars, but like what I can do is make fire t-shirts, and like people feel good about like doing charitable shit when they're, they get something in return for it. And they could share with their friends, they could wear it to protests. Like
this is literally grassroots organization and movements.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And I think we're the same way, a lot of us on this call is like, we kept that shit to our private selves and never like put it out there because that's just what we did on our own. And like, whether it wasn't cool or whether it wasn't like, whatever, but now like, I think what we learned is that a lot of people, and probably a lot of people that bought the shirts, just like don't really know where to begin.
Yes.
So it's not only like enabling them, but it's also like informing. So in that vein, what organization or organizations did you donate the robust funds towards, and why did you pick them?
So the first 24 hours went to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, because that's where shit was really.
This was right when
it started. Yeah, because it was literally the first night that this shit started, and people were going crazy, and I just saw like it. Shit was like cops were turning shit into a war zone. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, these people are like, they're the tip of the spear. You know what I mean? They're leading this shit off. Like they're doing what's right, and they're putting their bodies in the line. So first it went to them, and then it kind of started to get around that, they were basically like they had too much money. They're like, we do not need any more money. And then so they recommended, it was Reclaim the Block, and I think it was Black Visions Collective.
Black Visions Collective, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like those are the two that they had recommended, and those people, like I did a little search on them, be like, they've been at this for a while. It's not like a nonprofit where it's like all the money is like, going to administration and shit like that. It's just like
to D-Ray's Patagonia Vest Fund.
Yeah, exactly right. To the Sean King slush fund,
Yeah.
And
but that's an important point, right? Like everyone listening, and I know there's been, I don't want to say controversies, but like you got to do the research on before you give $1, you should be looking into this, right? As opposed, and to James's point, and like Lucas is a great example of this, like, yo, it's awesome for people to step up and be like, yo, this is something to consider, right? Whether you buy this tea or match me, whatever, but like, do the work. Like, don't be so lazy. I think that's like
the least you can do is at least look up their mission statement and like, where is this money going towards? Like, because any org, or not any org, but like different orgs are going to catch fire online, and then all of a sudden, like Minnesota Bail Fund, for example, they're like, yo, we have $35 million. Like, we literally cannot spend this money fast enough. And then so it's kind of like, it's almost like reverse engineering, like what cause do you really want to contribute towards, and then figure out who's kind of working towards enabling that cause.
You guys are absolutely right. It's essential that you do the research, because there's a lot of grifters out there, like people just scamming like crazy.
The Black Lives Matters Foundation, right? This separate thing. Yeah. That's not the thing. It's like that dude ran off on the plug with millies, bro.
Yeah.
Even know, and I know that. I mean, that's a specific example, but yeah, definitely do the work, right? Don't be so fucking lazy. Like, do the math. Do the work. Do the math. Exactly.
But that's the one good thing about someone said they turned IG into PowerPoint. It's like, but thank God for that, because honestly, like I'm glad that it's been really normalized for everyone to be like posting this information and sharing it, because, even though it's like you have like the well-designed, little Helvetica font and shit, this beautiful pop color, the information is easier to access than ever. So it's not hard. You just got to just put a little time into it,
Yeah, let me throw Kill All Cops on my Pinterest board, baby.
I know that the tees are kind of just touching down now, but like when you see people posting themselves wearing your shit, or if you see it at a protest, which I'm sure you will in the next few days, like what goes through your head when you see people actually wearing this stuff that you've designed for a good cause?
I mean, it's so, anytime you see someone like rocking something that you made, like, and actually, sorry, I need to shout out my graphic designer, Alexander Hancock. That's my man, did the work on that one. But anytime you see
sounds like a founding father.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's doing his part. He's doing his part to make reparations, dude.
Yeah. He doesn't fuck with white supremacy at all, because, no, I'm playing. But no, it's pride, and not like vanity type pride, but you're just like, shit, like I made something that people like, and I had a positive impact. It makes you kind of just think about everything that you do. You're like, all right, like, how can I extend this feeling into other parts of my life? I'm having a positive impact on the people around me, shit that's happening socially. So yeah, it feels fucking phenomenal, like, and it's like people get excited about the shit too. Like,
were you surprised by, were there any like famous purchasers or customers or?
I think I'm trying to think of like who's the most famous one. I mean, a lot of friends, a lot of strangers, but a lot of the success came from, like good homies sharing it, like Hassan Rahim, for instance,
For sure.
Like he's been like,
he's a warrior, bro.
Dude, we
were talking about Total Luxury Spa on last week. Like they raised like
$100,000. Yeah, no, he's legitimately a hero. And he's like, for instance, he's been a really good source of information too.
Yes,
just like learning about shit. It's like, this is like something that he's been about for a long time. And he just kind of rose to the occasion, was like, he's like, what can I do? Like, what can I make happen? But like him sharing it is just going to increase that, the waves, you know what I mean? Like people are going to be like, oh shit, that's fire.
That we're team fuck celebrities over here, even though we are kind of celebrities at this point, but if there's
We're
a celebrity,
celebrities?
look, the New Yorker doesn't just profile anyone on their digital, free to everyone, not print platform. But
I mean, listen,
was,
a screen is more expensive than a piece of paper. You know what I mean? That's way more luxurious.
no trees died in the making of this profile.
Sustainability, you know?
No, sir.
What's a celeb that if they wore, like, who's your dream celeb to see wearing the ACAB shirt?
I mean, I'm gonna keep it a
Cole.
stack with you, man. Yeah, fuck celebrities, bro. Like unless they're
I'm offended.
No, the only celebrities I acknowledge are you guys. But like honestly, like if there's, it would be.
Who do you hate to see wearing it? Who do you hate to see?
J. Cole. That would be devastating. that'd be very fucking upsetting to me. Like I was like, yo, I didn't even realize like I blocked that man on Twitter like 5 years ago. Like I was like a friend, someone hit me up because I blocked them, and I was like, well, you're wilding, you know. And like I was like going through my block list to unblock him because we talked it out. And I was like, I blocked J. Cole, and I was like, God damn, I'm so fucking smart. And I was like, that whole shit that everyone's like, oh, J. Cole is wilding. I was like, y'all hear something? Like I was like, I don't know him. I don't know Jermaine. Like, sorry, that's not my man. So yeah,
What
J.
else?
Cole would be devastating for me.
What else you got coming up though, product wise? What can we expect?
So
from the brain that's bigger than J. Cole's brain.
Yeah, right.
Yo, Lucas, you sent me a really sick design, and I've been like, I've had my finger on the trigger, like waiting for that one.
Yes. No, it's coming. It's like I don't want to blow the surprise, but it's a little more aggressive than the ACAB tee, if you can imagine that. There's some profanity on there. You know?
Ooh,
yeah. We're pushing the boundaries. Yeah, we're pushing my monocle just fell on my champagne flute. You know what I mean? Good heavens, but no. So the next step is
for charity though. Charity.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No,
yo, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
And this is a loaded question, right? So let me just preface that. Like we talked about, or I talked about, James and I trying to potentially dip our toes in the merch game. And we have made a commitment as a unit, not just myself and James, but everybody, the core four and beyond, that we want to always have some charitable element that's maybe not front and center, but that we're doing because we know it's right. Like at what point do you think that you will go back to releasing for-profit merch? Have you even thought about that? Am I gauche for asking that question, or have you?
No. I think that's a very reasonable question too, because like, as you can imagine, you know, like I'm very blessed. I still have a job, but I lost a lot of income due to COVID. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like I've had to definitely make changes in my lifestyle, and just like, you know, like again, that's like one of the reasons why I'm like, yo, I have to do something, is because, like I said, I still got a job. So it's like, I can't be stingy with motherfuckers. Like people need money. I don't know. I actually, to be honest with you, I haven't thought that far ahead. You know, like there's something I've been working on in the background for a while now. That's eventually is going to be for profit, but it's like, honestly, the way unemployment is set up right now, like it's gauche is the exact word to say. Like, imagine like putting out some shit right now and everyone's just like people are dying, Kim, and we're fucking broke. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I don't know. Probably not for 2020, to be honest with you. Like I think this year is pretty much a wrap. But you know, there's some things in the works that kind of connect to some other shit that I do too. And when it's ready, I think it's going to be for profit. But like you said, there's always going to be a charitable. Now it's like I feel like I hope that that's one of the big changes now, is that everybody always has some sort of element like that in whatever they're doing. Because it's like, we need to, you know.
Lucas, you know, you've been wild active the last 3 weeks, just like in these streets, inspiring us. I want to talk about the protests. Like for anyone that hasn't been lucky enough, and I say that lucky enough to attend these protests because they are like fucking fire. And just what's the vibe been? Just explain to the people that haven't gone for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean the first week was fucking insane because I remember it was like
Zuvi.
Yeah, no, for real. Because so basically, the shit started to pop off in Minnesota, and then the Friday and that was like I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday, and then the Friday of that week, they did the first protest at Barclays, and I didn't go because I was like, "Yo, COVID! Like, I'm not trying to be pressed up against fucking 3,000 of my friends and neighbors.
By the way, just real quick interjection. The news came out today that it's been 3 weeks of protests in New York, and there have not been any surges in coronavirus.
Yes,
so
facts.
Props to everyone acting responsibly at these protests.
Hell yeah, use your brain.
Yeah, for sure. And like, so that first night, I didn't go because I was honestly shook. I was like, yo, I'm not trying to get sick, And then I saw the next day and on social media what had happened. I was like, yo, these cops are fucking brutalizing people. And I'm like, there's like 98-pound people out there getting like beat up by the cops. And I was like, I gotta go. You know what I mean? Like, I can't in good conscience, like, just watch these people get.
You can't just be a brolic ass beast on the couch. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what it is. And it's like, honestly, it's like, my number one concern there is like the safety of the people around me. You know what I mean? And like, I might be able to help someone. I could definitely take a punch or a nightstick better than one of those smaller people. So sure. I went out on a Saturday and then I just kept going out. I think the craziest one was like the night before they did the curfew. And James, I think you might have actually been there too. But we walked over, because I live in downtown Brooklyn and pretty much everything starts at Barclays. So it's like very easy for me to get to. It's like walking distance, And so we met up there, posted, and then we shut down the Manhattan Bridge and we got to Canal Street. And that's when the cops started wilding. Like they didn't quite kettle us because like there was still like ways out, but we were like heading west down Canal and they blocked us off at like Church Street and we were trying to go into Tribeca. And like the cops started getting like crazy fucking aggressive.
Was that because they were protecting Tribeca, like legitimately? Probably? Yeah,
I think it's because it's a high income area. You know what I mean? So it's like they gotta, that's what their job is to protect the rich people.
Yeah.
And so like they were like kind of like it was like shit got a little confusing, and then it was like when there's not like clear leadership, that's when things get fucked up. You know what I mean? Because you're just like you need to know what the next move is. And they were like, I guess like the leadership was like they started like they had everyone like kneeling and like I can't do that shit, like I cannot kneel in front of the police, like fuck all that. And they were like trying to like talking to the protesters and they were talking about like, oh, they're gonna let us go if we're peaceful, and people just said fuck it and hit it up into Soho. And that's when shit got crazy. Like it just people were, I mean, I don't know. You saw pictures and shit of what Soho looks like. People were just, people are fucking furious. You know what I mean? Like they're going to take it out on.
Yeah. What do you say to the critics who like try to highlight the rioting and the looting?
It's a symptom of the real problem. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, obviously it's not great, but at the same time, it's like people get oppressed. Like you can't really, be like, okay, everyone just react calmly. You know what I mean? Like, it's like people are fucking pissed and like, just like
you can wear the size 15 Gucci loafer and also at the same time not cry crocodile tears for the Gucci store.
No, fuck the Gucci store. Take everything. Like, sorry, I don't mean to fuck up your bag, guys. In case they're like just like, finger hovering on the fucking sponsorship button.
No, sir. I wish. No.
Yeah, no.
We're beholden.
I wish I could cut this out, Lucas. I wish.
Yeah.
We're beholden to no inanimate brand.
No gods, no masters.
To no structure.
Yeah. So it's like, honestly, like I don't feel a fucking like that. You know what the people say? That's the best fucking example. They said like things can be replaced, lives cannot. You know what I mean? And like that's what it is. It's like who gives a fuck? Like I'm like yo, like just wreck this shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just like that's what gets shit done. Like it's like everyone, chanting and holding hands is a beautiful thing, but like sometimes you have to smash some shit to get your point across. And that's what people did.
Yeah, good vibes are not always the answer.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
have we tried Posy Vibes?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, put the, Kendall Jenner pops out with the milkshake. You know what I'm saying? Like,
have we tried kneeling at NFL games?
Yeah.
Do anything?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, also, I'm not telling people how to protest. Like, you should do whatever you feel is right or safe. But like, I know for me, it's like, I'm not shedding a fucking tear for the window of the Lululemon store on Broadway. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that place. Like, they're good. They'll be fine. They have insurance. You know what I mean? They'll be cool,
And their founder was a bigot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So say less.
Fuck them.
Fuck.
Care less.
Best
of luck.
But speaking of Posse Vibes that do work, you have been chefing up a little bit of vegan food for all of our, comrades on the front lines. What was behind that decision? Like, But listen, we all know that you are an avid chef-a-roni.
Yes,
Kitchen,
yes.
But like, what made you be like, all right, like, let me, because you had to find a bigger kitchen, I'm sure, right, to begin with. That was the first thing. So walk us through the thought process there.
Well, so basically, I mean, the first and foremost, like, the first 10 days or whatever, when they still had the curfew, I think I was out like 8 out of 10 of those nights, and you're walking, and it's like, we would walk from like, I'd walk basically from my crib, like we walked to like East Flatbush and back, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, just log the clean 12 miles, you know what I'm saying? Like, so basically that first week, it was kind of born out of just physical exhaustion because like, I just, I was not able to justify resting. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like I'm like the night that I like tried to rest, they literally walked past my crib and I hear them chanting from the fucking window. I was like, all right, I got to get out there. And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, all right, like finally, like after like day 8, my body was wrecked. You know what I mean? I was like sitting there soaking my feet in fucking Epsom salt, like feeling washed as hell. And I was like, I got to figure out some other kind of way to help. And, basically like, so my father was a Black Panther when he was a teenager, which is like something that, like I heard a lot about growing up, and like, it's something that I've always really respected him because like, for me, when I was a teenager, I was running from the cops. You know what I mean? He was fighting the cops, like I was like, God damn, like different level type shit. But something that
he set the example and ignited the fire. Exactly.
And it's like, my family has a history of that shit too. But like, he's, obviously that's like the man who taught me how to be a man. So, he's going to be my most direct example. And he told me about the Free Breakfast for Kids program, and it kind of like, that's what basically inspired me is I'm like, yo, like, I remember like being out there and I'm like, okay, like I'm hot, I'm hungry, you're burning a lot of energy and shit. So I was like, what else can I do? Well, I know how to make food, right? And I'm like, this is, trying to nurture the revolution, you know what I mean? And like keep people fueled, because the other thing is like, if your body starts to give out, you're not in a good place, you know what I mean? Like there's people out there, God bless them. There's people out there giving out water, which has definitely saved me a bunch of times when I've been like dehydrated, hot, uncomfortable. And then they got like, like Nutri-Grain bars, chips, and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I was like,
I saw someone handing out some very gourmet, like kettle fried chips. I was very impressed, and I took a bag.
That. Yeah, hell yeah, love that. It's like, and that's a good snack too. But I was like, all right, let me try and take that a little bit further. So
thank you, Cape Cod, for your contribution.
Yeah, exactly. The crunch really keeps the revolution alive. But yeah, so basically that's like, I basically looked, I was like, what can I do? Like I'm contributing money. I'm, trying to raise awareness. And I was like, this is a way that I can physically help people, because I also know a lot of these people who are protesting are unemployed. They don't have a lot of money. So it's like, they might be hungry and they're still putting their bodies on the line. The least I can do is try and feed them, And so it started in my kitchen. And then I don't know if y'all ever been to a spot on Bowery called Short Stories in Ashwin. Shout out to Ash, Williamsburg Pizza Ash. He let me hold it down with the restaurant kitchen too. So basically now is going to be the first time when I'm actually going to be looping in someone else to help me cook, so I'm be able to cook more meals. So basically I topped out at like 40 meals for the last couple of protests. And I'm like just gradually figuring out how to make it bigger each time and feed more people. Because people are like, honestly, the response is incredible. People are so happy and grateful, and they really appreciate it. You know what I mean? And like also like one of the things I miss the most, with quarantine is like, I love cooking for people. I love hosting. You know what I mean? It's like it's an act of service. It's a big part of my social life. So it kind of restores that a little bit. So, I get a little bit from it too.
The free food thing is really, I feel like, emblematic of like how the state has just kind of failed in like feeding its citizens. And it's like, yo, if people can just, I see like, also a vegan chef just had like 100 meals and there were just like all these homeless people lined up for food.
Yeah.
And like, this is how they're getting fed. And it's if this is how it happens to a community and empathy and like whatever, caring for your fellow man, why the fuck not? But it's also just like, this is just kind of what it is. I want to ask about like this inner fire that Lawrence mentioned. Like, we talked about this a little bit, but obviously desperate times, not desperate times, but like these times call for different measures. Has this always been something that's been part of like your life? Just like protesting, you mentioned running from the cops, but like, I don't know,
Activism?
challenging the state. Yeah, just activism. Or is it something that's kind of come about recently?
I would say, I mean, the first protest I remember was when the KKK came to New York, and they were posted up near like City Hall. And like, I was probably like 8 or 9 or something like that. And I remember my dad took me and my sister down there, and we just went and we popped out, and there was like,
Were they in full regalia in the streets?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, they popped out. Like they popped out full force.
Pop up to pop out.
Yeah. And the thing is that's so funny now is like, there was probably like 20 of them and like 5,000 of us. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're completely outnumbered, and they're surrounded by the cops, which now I realize there was probably more like 100 of them there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
They were
20 of them with hoods on.
Yeah, exactly. 20 were dressed. God knows how many were there. And that was like, that was probably like the first protest I ever went to. And like I said, it's like something that's in like the history of my family, as obviously like stories get passed down and stuff like that. And like going back generationally, it's like my grandparents too. My great uncle, he ran this, he was the director of this organization called HARU, which is like a Harlem based, social activism type program to help people like get jobs and, advance themselves in life. So it's something that's been just part of the family forever. And, I would be involved, probably up through like college. And then after college, it was kind of like, all right, like, I guess I just became more selfish. Like, I'm like, yo, like, I'm trying to, I just started in the fashion industry. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to make shit happen for myself. I'm trying to establish myself. So it just kind of became something that I was aware of, but wasn't really like that focused on, you know what I mean? And like, and then kind of the last big like uprising type moment I remember was Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
And that was big. 'Cause actually I lived on Wall Street during that time. And it was crazy. Like it was honest to God crazy. It was like literally, what's that Wonder Shows and skit where like the little girls like shouting people out on the, it's like, it's basically that, but like a bunch of like Trustafarian type people posted up. And like, that was a little bit of a, like an eye-opening experience for me, because I just kind of remembered, like, I was like, damn, like, you used to be about shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you used to get active, and then
you got distracted by bougie consumerism.
Capitalism bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, but basically that's what happened. It's like, honestly, it's like something that I was kind of able to ignore. And then like, I would say probably, the last 4 years or whatever, since 2016 or whatever, since Trump got elected, like, shit was already like extremely fucked up in the US, but it just became kind of impossible to ignore. Like, it was just like, things just got more and more glaring, and like, more insane bullshit got like normalized, you know what I mean? Like just insanity. So I guess that's when I started to really kind of pay more attention. And then like we had mentioned earlier, like, Bernie Sanders started campaigning, and like, I'm a firm believer that like, I was raised with a extreme distrust for all authority figures, but especially politicians. Like they're just, they're out for themselves, but honestly, Bernie was talking that talk, that energy was there. And like, I started to really kind of, I guess what was so appealing about it was like the fact that his campaign was like funded by the people, you know what I mean? And like,
he was about it for sure.
Yeah, he was about it for a while. And I have to give him his props too, because that $2.70 thing was fucking brilliant. Like, it's just like, yo, you have $2.70 right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to be like, that's not money that's necessarily going to change your day. And people were just contributing. And that was kind of the beginning of like the charitable streetwear or whatever. The only morally defensible streetwear is like streetwear with a cause, but like basically
it's what it used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Throwback.
Right. And shout out Nate James. He basically just like, he just makes art. Like he's literally pumps out this art, and he made like a movie poster for like, Bernie and the squad. And then I just like, and it was a similar kind of thing where I was like, all right, I'm gonna match up to $100 in donations today for anyone who donates to Bernie Sanders. And then one person donated $100 right after rep. I was like, okay, let's take a different approach here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to switch it up, or I'm gonna be broke financing Bernie shit myself. So that's when I hit him up, and I was like, yo, like, we can make this a T, you know what I mean? Like, then we'll just give all the money to Bernie's campaign. And we did, I think we raised like we raised whatever like the legal contribution limit amount was for like a political campaign, which is like $500-$600 or something like that. If you're not like getting a super PAC or whatever. And that kind of opened my eyes to like the possibility of that shit because like, you know, people were excited. Like, you know, even Bernie Sanders, you bastards is such a fire fucking phrase. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like walking around with that shit on the tee is like, you know, letting people know what time it is. And people hit me up and they're just like, yeah, I just got into like a crazy argument with my family because I was wearing this shit, but it's worth it. You know what I mean? And like, that was kind of the beginning of like waking up a little bit and like realizing that, you know, these like platforms that we've all built or whatever can be used for good. And then flash forward and like shit got real. And honestly, just no looking back now. Shit's different. Shit is different and it's going to stay different, you know?
It's the new normal. I want to go back though to kind of like, you know, the what really, you know, the fires you were forged in. So unlike my suburban product of white flight, bridge and tunnel co-host here, you also grew up in New York City.
The diaspora. It's the diaspora is how we prefer to call
diaspora. You know, so
yep, that one.
New York City kids always experience things earlier than most. Obviously, I feel like a lot of kids or a lot of people on the Zoom maybe didn't see like a KKK rally when they were 8 or 9, although I guess that is pretty common for most parts of the country. But the Crown Heights riots popped off when you were very young. But did you grow up when you were very young, like, and growing up, do they kind of still cast a shadow over the neighborhood? Because they still to this day.
Because it's like Crown Heights in particular is such a crazy dichotomy because you have like mad Jewish people and mad West Indian people, you know what I mean? And like now obviously like, you know, a lot of gentrification there too, but it's like, it's tension, you know what I mean? Like you have two different cultural groups and like, you know, technically both immigrant groups too, you know, and like that are, and like very proud immigrants, you know what I'm saying? And like, they're very much trying to keep their traditions alive and not necessarily like, you know, 100% integrate. And that's where you start to run into some explosive tension. You know what I mean? Like that's where shit starts to pop off. You know, one thing leads to another. And it's like, it's a shame to be honest with you, because it's like, you basically have other people, you know, you have people suffering under the same systems, but you get kind of pitted against each other. You know what I mean? Because you view each other as like competition or the source of oppression in your life when may not be the case, but it's just what's in front of your face at the time, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of that, like Lucas, like your mom is white and your dad is black. When did being mixed race like become part of your consciousness?
I remember we went to, I think probably the first memory that I had of this. Cause like, obviously like, you know, I remember we went out to dinner one time and we went to a fancy restaurant and it was like, you know, it was like my dad was trying to do something nice for the family. You know, he worked hard as shit. You know, he went out to get like seafood. I don't even remember the name of the spot, but like we went out to get like, yeah, exactly.
Long John Silver's?
If only, you know.
Le Bernardin.
Yeah, no, definitely not that fancy, but I do remember it being kind of like a big deal. You know what I mean? Like it was like we had to kind of, you know, dress up a little bit and look nice and shit. And so we got seated and the service was fucking horrible, like terrible. You know, like people were getting seated after us, getting served food before us. I remember seeing, you know, like my dad just like kind of bubbling with rage. You know what I mean? Like he was just fucking heated because obviously it was some, you know, racist bullshit. And I remember my dad, you know, finally complained, like he got up and complained to the maitre d', like away from the table. And I couldn't see the conversation, but he came back. He's like, "We're leaving." Ooh. And I was like, "What?" And I'm, you know, like, I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to like stir the pot or whatever, but I'm just like, what happened? It's just like, you know, like he was fucking pissed. He was like, you know, I complained about how long this was taking. And they're like, "Well, sir, this isn't McDonald's," you know? And I was like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it was like, it was OD. And I think that was kind of sort of the first time that I became like aware of this shit. And I think that was pretty young too, like maybe around that 7 or 8 kind of age. Like those are like my earliest memories usually.
Were you also, you being a kid, were you also kind of pissed that like you weren't going to get the fancy fish?
Nah, I remember I was just like, because also I was definitely a little shook because my dad was heated. Like he has the same voice that I do, you know, so when he sounds mad, it's fucking terrifying. But you know, it's just like, it's you know, like microaggressions, you know, Shit like that, where you're just like, damn, like, you know, now it's like, then that happens to you. and it's not really something you can ever forget. You know what I mean? And always and then it sort of like taints your perspective on shit, where it's like anything that kind of happens can kind of have, you know what I mean? You're like kind of like considering, you're like, well, was that racist? You know what I mean? Like what just happened there? You know what I mean? Or like, uncomfortable moments. Or like, I remember it was like, we were in like, Grand Central Terminal. And we was waiting for the train, and we were buying tickets, and it was a black conductor, and it's just me and my dad. And like, he was like, are you guys brothers? You know what I mean? It's just like, and I'm just like, what are you asking exactly? You know what I mean? Like, he's like basically like holding out a fist for us to give a pound. But, just like little moments like that, where it's like, everybody deals with it in kind of their own way or whatever. And like, honestly, like, there's lots of pictures of me, right? Like available. And like, I'm like a level 99 light skinned person. Like I'm very white passing. I benefit from white privilege, you know what I mean? So like, it's not even close to an important issue. You know what I mean? Like right. I keep sure. my beige tears to myself, because it's like people are dealing with real shit. And like, yeah, that doesn't mean what's happening to me is not real either, but it's just not as important. You know what I mean?
It's in the perspective. You get
it. Yeah. Just because the only reason why I'm so quick to like put these like disclaimers around this shit is because honestly, the fuckery that I see on the internet, where I'm just like, oh, why did you fix your fingers to type that shit out? You know what I mean? Like it'll always be some like mixed race person, who's just like saying some dumb shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, and it's just like, it's not that nobody cares, but it's just not the most important thing that's happening. You know what I mean? Like
has being white passing has that gotten you into maybe like spaces that you wouldn't necessarily have access to if you weren't white passing and were like more obviously like a black person to these people? And then has that kind of like enabled these people, these racists, to drop their guard around you? And I speak from personal experience, like this is something for sure, where they're just like, oh yeah, you're not black. And then they're just fucking racist. And you're just like, yo, 100%. I'm right here.
Yeah. You're like,
they perjure themselves.
Yeah. Do not recruit me for this. Nah, James, that's 100% yes. First of all, about getting into the spaces, I just, I'm not even that successful in life. And I just know my life would have been much, much harder if I was darker skinned, if I looked more black. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's facts. That's how white privilege works. Like, that's how white supremacy works, And the other thing is definitely that's the absolute facts too, is like you pinpointed this shit where it's like people are like, oh, this guy's down, he's white. Like, let's talk some shit about fucking people of color. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, like what we're not about to do, because like, and then it becomes
you're like, wait, hold up. Can you say it again? Can you speak, Can you speak to the microphone right here?
Yeah, well, it's like, because we're all of a certain age. We're in our 30s. We remember life before everything being recorded. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's like people used to say some shit, and it's like, and it would depend on the level of offense, because it's like, there's shit that I've had to fight over where it's like you just can't, you can't abide that. But most of it has been like, to be honest with you, the majority of it is just checking these fucking people where you're just like, yeah, no. So no, it's like, sorry, do not recruit me into the KKK.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not fucking with it. You know what I mean? And like,
so that is one of my favorite things to do in this podcast. I'll just say this quickly, is to when white guests are on, or even when my white co-host is going, to just like pop their bubble of comfortability. And just be like, hey, that was kind of racist. Anyway, keep going, Lawrence.
No, Lucas, speaking of people, one, saying some shit, and then two, you checking the fuck out of them. I believe recently your boss asked you if you were black. How did you not duff them through Zoom? and then two, just like, just walk us through that. Cause that, when I saw that, like, you've been very outspoken on Twitter, about everything that's happening, but clearly, you're going through some shit professionally. You've tweeted about it. Like, what is that conversation even like?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is like, for me, I guess I'm always, I'm always so slow to try and center myself. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about me. It's bigger than me. You know what I mean? But this shit was just like the fun. You know what it is? Like, this is actually a perfect example, right? Is because it's like, it wasn't even like, we're basically, it's like, it was the after the weekend that the first protest, like when shit started to get real in New York. And my boss asked me like that was the lead off. It's like, you're black, right? Because again, it's like, like I don't pop into every meeting in my company and be like, I'm black, y'all. You know what I mean? Like it's not like
hey,
I'm not
black guys here.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Reporting
like,
for duty.
Like, yeah, just like lay down the cardboard and start breakdancing to kick off the meal. You know what I mean? Like, but no, it's like, it's honestly, it's something that like, again, it's a privilege, that I don't have to necessarily actively discuss it with these people. And the other big takeaway too is it's like, it's not black people's job to educate, white people and non-black people of color about like the black experience, white supremacy.
Did you tell J. Cole that, by the way?
Yes. Oh man. Honestly, he does not read, but he thinks. So what can I tell that man? You know what I'm saying? He's on some other shit, but no, it's like I guess the thought process was trying to see how I felt about everything that was happening. So it's like, it's like this is like coming from a good place, but at the end of the day, it's like it's still putting me in a situation where I'm like, God damn, I'm fucking uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like it's like I have to sit here and like try to, maintain professionalism and not expose myself, as like to put myself in jeopardy, because obviously I still need a job. I need material safety. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have the world's most successful podcast to fall back on. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I need a job.
The only podcast that matters.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But you do have a pretty robust side bag operation when COVID leaves and No Losses is able to fucking function again.
Yeah, absolutely.
In our little pre-call, I asked, I was like, "Yo, are you cool to talk about like racism in nightlife?" And you were like, "Fuck yes!"
Yeah,
I want to fucking air out everybody. So let's talk about it. Like, how does racism manifest itself in the nightlife industry? Well,
okay. So pretty much everybody who is owning a club is some variation of white. I'm sure there's definitely going to be some exceptions to that rule, but I think pretty much anyone that's DJed in New York for any amount of time just knows that it's like these are white clubs, and basically what happens is like people want black cool, they want it to be like something that they can profit off of, but to a certain extent, where you have like these club owners who, you play rap or anything like that, and they come up to you like, like try and keep it like there'll be like light racism where they'll be like, oh, try to keep it dancey. And then there'll be like hardcore racism where they're like, oh, it's getting a little dark in here. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, wow, like you really said that with your chest.
Hip hop night is getting a little too dark.
Yeah.
How much MGTV got in your Serato?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so I'd say that's probably that's the first and foremost example is like you would get pushback from owners, managers, whatever, about like playing too much black music, But the ironic thing is that you have all these white people, rapping along to the songs and shit, and they're like having the time of their lives because they get to live their little fantasy. So
shit,
yeah, literally, like it's just, it's like legit, like, people are getting to, do their little dance or whatever. They hit the whoa, and you can't take them anywhere. The door. But I would say probably the place where shit goes down. And Chuck, you could probably speak on this too from your experience. But like the door is where that's ground zero for racism.
Like, dress codes, right? Are in nightlife are systemic racism. Like that's what
100%. Because it's basically built around black streetwear. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is.
AKA streetwear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like there's no functional reason why someone wearing a hat inside of the club is it's not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like this is like there's no negative impact from that shit.
Please don't dress cool.
Well, on that on that note, Lucas, how can the industry, like the larger industry of nightlife, what can they do to help like elevate and enable, I guess, young DJs of color, especially like black and brown DJs, like what can they do? Is it as simple as like booking and paying a fair rate? Like what do you know? Like what are the easy, or not easy, because none of this shit is clearly easy for anybody apparently, but like what are those steps that
simple steps?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it right away. First of all, because that's another part of the racist shit that I didn't even get to is like, you have a bunch of white guy DJs. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, and it becomes very apparent in the music selection and like the flow of the night. You know, so like first and foremost is like, gotta book more women, gotta book more people of color, gotta book more black people. You know, so there's actual like, you know, and that's not to say that just because somebody's white doesn't mean they're not a good DJ, but it's just at the end of the day, you need variation. You know what I mean? Because shit becomes homogenous very quickly, and you have white promoters booking, you know, white guys and white women too. You know, and like that shit is just, it really sucks the flavor out of the place. So, and then also like, you have to be paying everybody the same rate too. You know what I mean? Like they can't be like.
Right.
It can't be like, oh, like the white male gets like more money than everybody else. Like that's
right. It can't be.
Right.
It can't be its own version of a 3/5 compromise where like top shelf gets less than whoever. Then you know, DJ Snake.
Yeah, exactly.
Is pay disparity, is that rampant amongst?
Absolutely, yeah. Because people think that they can kind of, you know, because they fuck with you. It's like it's not like you every time you DJ, your lawyer sends over a contract and like you agree with it. You know what I mean? Like it's a very like fast and loose kind of shit. Like sometimes getting paid in cash, like sometimes getting paid in check. You know, like very rarely has there ever been a place where I haven't had to do any type of follow up to get paid. You know, there's only like a few times in my life have I ever been paid on time. You know, not have to jerk people around. Like, you know, I've had to show up and like, you know, luckily it's only been like a few times, but like I've had to show up and like threaten violence before to get paid. You know what I mean?
Physically
like,
in person.
Like, physically, like I pulled up with a bat, you know, and it's like, and that's like, that's not good. That's not like a normal job. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's like you do the work.
Unless your job is being a cop.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like you have the bat on deck, you know.
Or you're a baseball player.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I had the on decky Matt Stewie with me. So it's like, you know, and like that's like a huge thing right there. It's like, you know, because obviously, you know, there's tons of costs that come with, you know, running a business or whatever. Like, of course, you got like rent, you got to pay your staff and shit like that. Yeah. But it's like you're making cash all night at the bar. You know what I mean? And like, if you have an agreement with someone, you need to honor that agreement. Because the other thing is like a lot of people DJ, and that's their whole livelihood. You know, so if you fucking jerk them on a check, you know, that could fuck their paper up badly because it's also not a very high paying industry too. And like, you know, one thing. Nightlife in New York is like, you know, they make it as hard as humanly fucking possible to run a club or, you know, like run a bar or whatever. Cops are always on you. And pretty much the cycle of any neighborhood is it's going to be hot and young people are going to live there and like everyone wants to chill. And then those people get old, they have kids, and then all of a sudden they got a problem with noise. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like it's tough
the fireworks, the fireworks.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to run that business. You know what I mean? Like I understand that, but that doesn't give you like free reign to fuck people over. Yeah. You know, like just because someone's technically an independent contractor doesn't mean that you should play them. And there are still, and like also I should say this too, is like there are people that are about their business and like they don't play around, like the brunch bounce guys, like those guys. All bunch of cats from uptown, Dominican dudes, you know, they get diverse lineups. They take care of their people. It's always very official with them. You know what I mean? But when you're dealing with a lot of venues directly, that's the issue. So it needs to be inclusive in the bookings. People need to get paid evenly. And like, there should not be, you know, bullshit at the door where it's just like, oh, there's black people. It's like, well, oh, like, you know, look for a reason to stop them, basically. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
it's like patrol cars.
Yeah, exactly right. It's stop and frisk at the door, basically.
Broken windows clubbing.
Yeah, you're like literally just trying to find reasons to fuck with people. And there's been a ton of times where it's like, you know, I've had to stop DJing at places because my friends can't get in. You know what I mean? Like it's like that should not be a concern. It's like if I say that someone is like with me, you know, they're on the guest list.
Establishments and checks because of systemic racism off rip.
Yes.
Crazy.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, you have
fuck
to,
them.
you know?
Yeah, you have to.
Fuck them. You can always go get more money, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine like, you know, your optimism and good humor in the face of like the day-to-day racism and discrimination, but especially, you know, in this time of like massive social upheaval, how have you been able to kind of like keep that good energy flowing? Like, what's your secret?
Ooh,
for anyone that's you know, maybe struggling to continue to see the positivity when there's just so much fuck shit, the world is just on fire, or the world is still on fire. It's just that now the cameras are better.
Yeah, facts. No, it's been like this for a minute, and now it's just getting exposed. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. It's like, even for me, it's challenging. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to keep yourself like happy and motivated. You know, I'd say, first of all, like, you got to have your inner circle, you know, like people that it's like safe to vent to, but also safe to like joke with, because like, honestly, like, yeah, like, trust me, there's tons of times where like ain't shit funny, but at the end of the day, like, what's going to really, you know, keep you alive and happy is the ability to still be able to laugh at shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just be like, it can't be solemn and miserable 24/7. Like, there's nuance, you know, we can care about two things at once, and, you know, we can laugh at some racist dude getting washed. You know what I mean? That's another thing, by the way. Watch compilations of racists getting knocked out. Oh, it's just like, that shit is a balm to the soul. Like, for real, that shit is food. Yeah. You know,
chicken soup for the soul, baby.
Yo, for real. Like, it's just like every single time it's like, you know. But like, you gotta take care of yourself. That's another huge thing too. It's like, you know, keep your crib clean, like, feed yourself well, like, get rest. That's a huge one. It's like, get your sleep. Even though it's hard as fuck to sleep right now, you still got to try.
The fireworks.
You know, yeah. Fuck you. Fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, fuck them if they can't take a firework. But,
sure.
You know, and honestly,
fireworks are sick. I don't know what the fucking issue is.
Yeah.
Says the man born on the 4th of July.
Exactly.
Yo, your birthday's on the 4th of July? That's crazy. Okay, bet.
Coming up.
And I don't own a dog. I do kind of feel bad for dog owners that have to put up with the fireworks. I will say that.
Yeah. The dog needs that little like anxiety shirt or whatever, the thunder shirt. You know what I mean? Like, fucking sweating it out in the corner.
Thunder shirt, dude. Hell yeah. The anxiety blanket. Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah, you need to put like a blanket on your dog and then put like a heavy book on top and be like, yo, chill out. Like, saying, have a seat.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like, honestly, like, your own little rituals and shit. Like, for me, I have like, you know, obviously you work from home, and like, that's like a hard thing to kind of balance out too. So you're not just like working all the time or whatever. But like, for me, for instance, like, I sit at like my kitchen table to work, you know, because I don't have a desk. And so for me, like, a little signal to myself when the day is done, it's like, I put my laptop away, I hide it somewhere I can't see it. I reset the table, and then I light some incense. You know, Chuck, you called out the Kumba incense before.
You put me on.
So like, yeah, no, and it's the truth, you know. But
like, we know there's no cap here because you're doing this a podcast on your phone.
Yeah, literally, like, you're seeing the crib. There's the table, you know. But you know, for me, like, for instance, like, that incense is like a ritual. You know what I mean? Like, that's like a signal to myself that it's like, all right, there's me time. There's time to relax. So like, I would say, kind of establish to yourself like those moments where it's like, you know, you take some moment and do something that's strictly for you, because obviously we're all doing shit for the community, but, you know, you're still a part of that community. You got to take care of yourself too. So, you know, take those little moments and like establish that for yourself. Be like, all right, that like, this is, you know, this is for me. This is like a restorative moment type thing. And it can take many forms, you know. And also, I'm a big proponent of getting smacked. It's truly therapeutic. You know?
We're gonna get to that, because this podcast, if it's about anything, it's about getting smacked. But I want to, when you talk about rituals and routine and stuff like that, right? Social media is a part of so many people's lives now. Yes. So what I'm curious in your mind, Lucas, is like, what does the new normal look like for social? Maybe if we want to talk specifically, like, what is that social media new normal like in streetwear or nightlife, and how can one of the Throwing Fits' extended universe's most iconic flexers, how do you flex moving forward?
Well, actually, I mean, I think specifically with the nightlife stuff, because obviously, like, so much of what I came to realize, like, so much of what I enjoy about DJing is like the social aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like, I love seeing my friends. I love playing music that they love. I love interacting with the crowd. And like, you know, it's like, it's the same thing as like cooking. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you put the ingredients out there, you put them together, people react. You know what I mean? It's very pleasing. It's like, you know, acts of service. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good feeling. So for me, I kind of struggle with the whole live stream thing for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, I just like something about it. I was like, this shit did not sit right with me. Like, it's not fun. You know, the fucking resellers bought up all the webcams and shit. They're trying to tax on that shit. I'm like, fuck out of here, you know? But then I really pushed myself to like actually try and like do my own show and like come up with like a format. And like, for me, the idea, you know, like one of my friends pointed out, they're like, yo, like, one of the good things about the live stream is like, you can play music that you would never get to play in the club. You know, so it's like you can actually like, you can really, really tailor the experience because it's like people are chilling in their crib, like listening to you. So like, that's been big, you know, like doing that live stream, like this shit's called In My Bag. And it's like, basically I get to go, you know, a little bit deeper on the records, like a little bit deeper in the genres, like shit I wouldn't normally get to do. So like, that's the nightlife aspect of it. Social media, I mean, we're living through like the evolution of the flex right now. You know what I mean? Like it's not fly to be like out here, you know.
The paradigm of the flex is shifting.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing it in real time. You know what I mean? Like even like what we were talking about with Hassan, it's like, yo, it's like that man between like with matching and his own brand, he raised $100,000 in a short amount of time. That's a flex. You know what I mean? Like it's like the new flex is like, how much of a positive impact can I have on the world? Which is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Like, and we sort of saw the beginning of that this year when like rappers would post some like flagrant shit. You know, they're like, oh, this was my Lamborghini helicopter. And people were like, fuck you, open your purse. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like I'm glad people are bullying celebrities now because it's like these people have hoarded all this wealth and people are starving out here, you know? So it's like definitely on social media, it's like, yo, it's like, you know, nobody's trying to hear your weird fucked up dick jokes anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's like people got to have some like.
Well, that's news to us.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, I'm retired.
Back to the drawing board.
Pivot. I guess I'm really retired now.
Yeah,
Pivot.
But honestly, to be like, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, you know, one of the things I really respect is like, you know, because we all have very similar interests. Like we like the finer things in life. You know, we're very particular about shit.
Facts.
Like we have our tastes. We like material things.
We all like getting
faded. Yeah, we love to
getting smacked and smacktivities.
Yeah,
Samuel Smacktion. You know, like, but yeah, like
lights, camera, Smacktion.
Yeah, and it's like, and I respect, you know, watching you guys literally pivot. You know what I mean? Like you guys got thrown a fucking curveball. Like you had Lawrence. Lawrence was tweeting sad shit at the end of last year. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, that's like my fucking North Star right there. I was like, Lawrence is going through it. We're fucking done out here. You know what I mean?
Dude.
But like,
gotta pivot like Mello and ISO, dog. You know,
for real. And I respect that you guys have been using your sizable platform to try and improve shit. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's very, very noble. You didn't have to do it, but you did. And that's what's up. Like, I respect that about you guys. And I think we just all have to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like everybody got to make that move now because it's like nobody, like, you know, it's like nobody's trying to see your brunch. You know what I mean? No one gives a fuck about your brunch anymore. Like, who cares? Like everybody got brunch. Like, who gives a fuck? You know? So like people, and that's the other thing too, is like, you know, like all these like influencers, these people who live off other people's budgets. It's like, yeah, no one's sending the Uber for you anymore. You're not flying anywhere to the brand retreat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
no one's sending you the Lamborghini helicopter.
Yeah.
Well, Lucas, perfect segue into the next question. So thank you for that. Thank you for your service. You know, a lot of people, and we were talking about this, like a lot of young people, especially who maybe didn't get a chance to experience the Occupy movement. A lot of them are like really trying to get engaged for the first time. And, you know, some of them maybe just still have hesitations or don't know where to start. I guess my question is like, what's the biggest misconception people might have about trying to or getting involved with social justice?
That's a good question. Like,
give them clarity so that they understand that, you know, it's entirely possible.
They got that post-Zuccotti Park stress disorder.
Oh man, I can't. I will never forget the way that park smelled after like a couple.
Wait, can I ask you a question, Lucas? When you said, and you specifically said Trustafarians when you're talking about Occupy, what was that? I mean, I wasn't there. I can't. So was that like a limousine liberals thing that you like, or was it?
No, I was just talking shit. I think. Okay. I mean, to be honest with you, whenever you have shit like that, like I guess like that term kind of like that originated from like you know, people in like the 2010s living on St. Mark's Place. I'm like, you're not homeless. You're homeless by choice. You know what I mean? Like you could always go back to your parents' crib, but you know, you're deciding to live this like grody ass life. I mean, I'm sure there was an
upper crust punk. Trustafari.
You guys were in the fucking New Yorker for a reason, man. That's like good wordplay right there. You know? But no, it's like, I mean, there was definitely the feeling where it's like, yeah, a lot of these people are down and like, but there's always going to be people who are like hangers on and shit and just like, you know, they want an excuse to live in a park or whatever and like do that anarchy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, that's what people are saying right now about Chaz, which is both the name of the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone and the name of the Trustafarian that's occupying that.
Well, I think it's chopped now. Now it's the Capitol Hill organized protest.
But
they rebranded because of Chaz's white dreadlocks.
They brought the chopper out, but no. So like they're like, yo, you're co-opting the fucking BLM movement and just making it about whatever. So
anarchy and shit. Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's a tough one, to be honest with you, because like a lot of people like like and that term outside agitator is some bullshit. But there's like you definitely see people at these protests, and it's like they're just there to like they don't really care about.
They're there to flake up.
They want to do some. They want to live their little anarchist fantasy and like, do all that shit or whatever. So like, I don't know. It's like, honestly, I'll be completely real with you with the Seattle shit. Like all I know is Seattle is another city where you have this insane spread of wealth. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you have all these big ass fucking tech companies are there. They got all this money. And then you walk on the streets and it's like, there's dope fiends just, asleep on the fucking ground. Like, it's fucked up. Like, it's like, you clearly don't have a good system there. So like, honestly, it's not really my place to speak on it because I'm not informed enough about it. I do respect that they're housing homeless people. I think that's a good overall positive kind of thing. Because the other thing about this, like a lot of this like social justice shit is like you have a lot of people doing like the right thing for the wrong reasons, but the net result is still the right thing. You know what I mean? So it's like if you have these homeless people and they're able to kick the cops out, that's overall is like, yeah, they're kicking out the cops. Like, yeah, I'm fucking with the movement, you know what I mean? But like
net positive,
it's like, yeah, net positive. And like, that's the thing. It's like when things have improved, we'll have a little bit more runway to, and to be like, then it'll be time to be like, okay, we can critique this shit specifically, right. But shit still fuck the fuck up. So it's like, you know what? It is what it is. Like people are going to do what they're going to do. And like, we have to try and, as long as people aren't doing anything flagrantly wrong, it's like we have to try and accept that shit, and like it's going to come out in different ways. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to know like exactly who's like, who's 100% the person who's going to be living in that spot or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a very fluid thing. And like, we're only a couple weeks deep into this shit too. That's the other thing is like, you have people who are getting their shit rocked by the cops in Seattle, And if like their response to that is like taking over part of the city, like I fuck with it. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I don't know too much about their individual politics. And if they are doing some like co-opting the movement type shit, then fuck that. But, I respect it. I definitely respect it. And to bring it back to your first question too, about like, where to get started or whatever, I do think the first and foremost kind of move for like, especially your audience, educate yourself, like all the shit, all the free books that are being posted, all the speeches that are online, do a little research, start to learn. Like even for me too, it's like now as the protests kind of chilled out a little bit in New York, like it's not as active as it was. Like I'm taking the time to read. You know what I mean? Like it's like we all should be reading shit. Like I know we're all illiterate as fuck just looking at social media, but it's like it's time to teach yourself. And
hold up. There are words beyond what fits in a 1080 by 1080 square asset gallery?
Allegedly.
Take your word for it.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to exploring that, But yeah, I mean that's the first step is educate yourself. And like you may not be able there's something you could do every day, you know what I mean? And like that's something could be you're just signing petitions and emailing and calling politicians, like things that don't cost money. Sometimes you're contributing money and like, doing what you can there. Like sometimes you can do kind of a bigger thing. You can go to a protest, you can get involved with a community organization. Like there's a whole gamut of activities that you can do to like stay active and make sure you're impacting change that don't necessarily cost you money. You don't necessarily have to be like putting your body on the line. There's things you can do, So I think that's the biggest takeaway from me. It's like to do a little bit every day. Don't just like burn yourself out trying to do everything all the time.
And that little bit that you can do every day, right? You can focus. When we're talking about reading or whatever, like we're talking about self-improvement to some degree, right? Foundation.
Yes.
And I want to know because I think Top Shelf, you're like the you're the avatar for what a lot of these kids that listen to this. I mean, obviously they want to be me and James, but outside of that,
naturally, we all want to be you and James.
We're also not as tall as you, so obviously you supersede us at least in that degree. What are you doing outside of, I guess, reading and educating? Because you clearly like laid that out. What else are you doing to focus on self-improvement while still kind of in quarantine?
I mean, for me, it's been exercise is a big one. You know what I mean? Because like I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. That first month was ugly. Because it's just like we're just like, well, we don't know how fucking long this is gonna last. I'm fucking anxious, so I'm gonna do whatever my coping mechanism may be, which is maybe eating emotionally or drinking too much or whatever. So it's like I definitely let myself go at first, and I was like, okay, like got to get this together. You know what I mean? Like I feel physically bad and I feel mentally bad too,
Double trouble.
So it's like, yeah, it's a bad combo. And then you're alone, you know what I mean? You're locked up, boy, that shit will drive you fucking crazy, So for me, a big part of it was, again, so I know we keep saying, but getting active, I'm just like, whether it be like every day, take a walk, I started jogging for a while, but then they were saying like, jog with the mask. And like, honestly, I'm like breathing like a pug with that shit on, bro. I was like, like breathing in your own fucking carbon dioxide. So that wasn't it. So I got a bike. So I started riding my bike everywhere, like the first, and then it's like also, but it was like definitely like some manic behavior type shit. Cause the first day that I got a bike, I rode 22 miles. Like, I was like, okay, I might have overdid it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, how
was your fucking taint the next day?
Holy shit. Well, cause oh my God.
Toward the Tyson, bro.
Bruised the fuck up. But like, the good thing is like, for the most part, I'm usually standing on the bike. Like I'm not just like sitting there riding or whatever, but yeah, no, it fucked me up. I was like, why did I just do that? But like, regulating that a little bit better, you know what I mean? Like not just like killing yourself every single time is like critical, but
you got to find a balance too. And this wouldn't be
absolutely
if we also didn't ask then the other side of the coin. Let's talk about your most trash behavior, dude. I think we're going to talk about getting smacked extensively later, but like, what are some other trash behaviors that you've kind of found yourself? And it could be, this is comfort zone shit. This is like, it happens, right? You got to find this balance. Yeah. So let's talk about you at your worst.
Oh man. I mean, definitely for me, like, part of the reason why like cooking is so important is because like, if I don't keep that shit in check, I'm gonna be eating like a fucking raccoon. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be like in the dumpster behind the Panda Express, like shoveling trash in my mouth. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, ordering delivery for every meal or whatever. Like, and it's like actually, you want to know the most trash shit that I did in quarantine? Please. All right. So I live, I think approximately 93 feet from a Popeyes. So I once measured it out and I got that shit delivered.
I bet you tipped good though. You tipped good.
Absolutely. No, I always tip good, at least 20%.
What's your go-to? I'm actually really curious.
Well, I have to tell you, usually I'll do like a 3 or 4 piece spicy.
Nice.
With either, with fries usually. Cause I'm just like, I keep it simple. Guy? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's where the flavor is at. But the chicken sandwich slaps. Like that shit is delicious. You know what I mean?
What are your sides?
I just do fries. I keep it simple. Fries and
the fries are really good.
Yeah,
don't sleep on dirty rice, bro. Don't sleep on dirty rice. I mean, it's Popeyes. You get whatever the fuck you want. It's gonna slap. It doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fries are never included in like the best fast food fries conversations, which I think is
Cajun fries are amazing.
Yeah. I think that's fucking. I think that's criminal.
Oh, people sleeping are what you're saying.
They don't include them. It's always like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, I get whatever, like the big four.
Sure.
Well, but there's also there's one stipulation about this shit, and you can ask Rob when he's on the show. So we refer to the Popeyes on Court Street as the Hell Popeyes. Like, is honestly every single time that I've gone in there, it's like there will be a huge line of people, a huge rack of chicken, and nobody's getting fed. It's incredible. It's like every day is like their first day. I'm like, how the fuck is like? You guys have been here for years and like y'all are still struggling to do it. So I usually, once I've established that I can get a certain order and it's not going to be fucked up when I get it, I just stick to that. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, fuck it, it's easy. Smart. So that's how I end up just sticking into it. But yeah, that's probably the lowest of the low, or like, getting too smacked is also a problem. If you got to wake up and do shit the next day and like, that quarantine anxiety be hitting a little bit harder when you're hungover. You know what I mean? Like, you can't trust your brain. Like,
or if you don't got to do shit the next day, if you don't have shit to do the next day, then except wallow in your own filth and be hungover, it's horrible.
Yeah.
That sucks too.
That's not a good feeling. Like, that's definitely that's like probably and this is not like unique observation or whatever, but whoever pointed out that they're like, yo, get your ass up, shower, and put on clothing. Essential, you know what I mean? It's like I'm a robe guy personally. Like I like to lounge in robes and basketball shorts.
You're a pimp.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's like a little straw collar joint. Well, and like honestly, like if I lean too deep into that, then it's like you're getting into like scummy territory. Like I'm not trying to. Yeah, then it's over. Once it's like you cross that threshold, it's a wrap.
A brothel of one. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Lucas, I want to move on.
Bitches.
Lucas, enough talking about ourselves, James and Lawrence. I want to get into the second topic of this podcast, which is, as you know, money.
Ka-ching.
Yep.
Listen, you're a classy guy. I mean, you're the reason why we had you on is that you're part of our ilk. You're classy. You're elegant. You're not gauche. You're tall like us. Mm-hmm. I'm a smidge shorter than Lawrence. The guy in New York said shorter. He could have just said half inch, whatever.
Right.
The point is that we are above board. We don't like to talk about taboo subjects, but we are going to ask you, how much money do you make?
Yeah.
So I make in the six figures.
Okay.
And not like on the low end of the six figures if we're keeping it a stack here, but
see, this is what's called a classy flex, right? You're flexing, but you're keeping it classy.
Well, and you know what it is? Like, honestly, I think we need to normalize talking about money a lot more, like that's where a lot of that. Yeah, the transparency is important because, like, that's where you get a lot of those pay disparities and, like, discriminatory behavior.
I mean, me and Lawrence, we're the most transparent about it. You can go to our Patreon and look at how much money we
public, bro. It's a public filing, bro. It's a public filing.
I love that for you guys. I'm definitely gonna look that. I've never been on Patreon in my life, but I'm gonna look that shit up right after we get on here.
How much money would you like to make?
Honestly, like I have aspirations, you know what I mean? Like I'd like to own a home at some point in my life. I'm far from that right now, unfortunately, because like I definitely have not been making this much money in my whole life, I would like a car, you know what I mean? Like, ooh. But the problem is if I was living in Tulsa or, St. Louis making what I make now, that would be more reasonable. But because
you'd be the fucking mayor. You'd be governor.
But because I live in New York, I'm like lower middle class. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like I would like to make enough money to get to just a firm middle class in New York, like, and just be able to, like, you ain't got to be gone all the time, but be able to, like, take a vacation and it's not going to fuck your whole shit up, you know, like the occasional nice dinner, you know what I'm saying? Like, because also the super rich, they're going to come for the super rich eventually. And it's like, that's when you don't want to be part of the super rich,
Get your guillotines out.
That's in the documentary Dark Knight Rises. You see it
yes.
Right there, man.
Yes.
Gotham is yours now.
Yeah. Yes.
Why would you shoot Superman before throwing him out of a plane? Big questions only.
They filmed, you remember the part where the cops come out the sewer? And they fight the bones.
Fucking rats they are.
Yeah. And like I was living on Wall Street when that happened. That's when they filmed it. So it's like for like 2 days straight, you would just hear for like 8 hours, they'd be like, they would pop off some fake gunshots and a bunch of people going, like charging each other and shit. And I was like, I looked out my window.
Bane is the good guy. If you watch that movie,
absolutely.
Listen, open up your third eye, brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Stay woke, beloved. Like,
well, the Batman slander has begun for sure.
Oh, I love it. I love it every time. And I fuck with the Batman movies, to be clear. Like, that's a big part of my childhood. But I love the Batman slander. They said he's a billionaire practicing karate on the mentally ill. Oh my God, bro.
Yeah. Bars.
My man was trying to smoke a joint and Batman broke his spine.
All crumpled on the ground and shit. Oh my God, yeah. That should have me crying.
Well, all right, if you're not copping cribs and whips like you aspire to be, at your current moment, what do you like to spend your money on? Quarantine edition.
I mean, now it's like an even split between wine and edibles. Like that's been the combo, like the warm blanket, it's like, and I'm lucky.
You're a natty boy.
Oh yes. And I'm lucky.
You love your natties.
because I have a lot of friends that are way more knowledgeable about this shit than me, and they've been putting me on. They've been going out of their way to help me out with that, because I'm very lucky. Shout out to my wine store, Brooklyn Wine Exchange. They have a very good selection. Service is on point. When you used to be able to walk in the store, back in the day, you would walk in and there's like, wine stores be like staffed by dickheads sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like a very exclusionary culture.
It's like old school Supreme.
Yeah. And they was never on that. Like they were always just like I'll go up to the dude who's always dressed like Stuart Little because he had the fire recommendations. I was like, I know my man knows what he's talking about. He did every single time. So it's like that's one of the things I've been working on is like trying to learn more about wine and shit like that. But yeah, it's like because the other thing is like you start to get too heavy into other drugs and hard liquor and shit, and then you get into those real low moments again. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think everyone on the Zoom has shared a few together at some point.
Allegedly.
I forgot that Lucas isn't retired yet. Just some low life, just some general low life shit. It happens.
Yeah, scum gang. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, let's get off the scummy subjects real quick. Let's move on to Meats and Cheeks is the title for this episode. So I want to ask you this, Lucas. Like you're out on the streets, you got the fucking pulse, you know what the fuck going on. Yes, once quarantine lifts, is this set to be the horniest summer of all time?
Oh my God, get ready. Like people are gonna be. I mean, it's just like even just kind of seeing what the shift. Everybody got like 75% more naked on social media, like before the uprising.
That's just math. Happened. That's just math.
Yeah,
dog.
yeah. People are horny as fuck. They're dying. They're going crazy. And like I thought it was gonna be one of these situations where it's like a bell curve where like everyone's just like horny. Then you got the downside of it, like all right, everyone's done with being horny. No sir.
Everybody busted at the same time.
Yeah.
His nut levels are over 6,000.
That's exactly it. It's about to be some summer of love shit, but the problem is we have like way more fucked up STDs. So I'm actually a little concerned for the general population.
Is there
for the genital population or the general population? Both.
Is there a specific, like you're a DJ's man, you're a recordsman, I believe is the official term. What's the record that's making people the horniest right now, or will once Quar is in phase 3 and we can get to said fapping and clapping?
The clapping.
Honestly, anything Jeremiah puts out is baby making music. You know what I mean? Okay. It doesn't matter when it comes out. Like he had this who is that with? He had this one joint with this rapper. Hold
J.
on,
Cole? The one about
no.
What did he that's a very funny J. Cole verse, right? What does he say in that one?
He said my dick's so big it's like a foot up in your mouth, which is one of the most horrifying fucking things ever. Oh my God.
What is it, $5 foot long, dog?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was like I should have. We need like I need reparations for that line. Like it's just like sir, that's like you prevented a lot of people from fucking because of that. Like it's crazy. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm bugging. I'm like looking through my joints.
Is Jeremiah is he a constant presence on your sex playlist?
Oh, I mean, I'm looking forward to having sex for the first time soon. That's gonna be a really big moment for me. But
you're excited to lose your virginity.
Yes, it's gonna. I think we've all been, waiting for it since.
Well, that Quar nut is just gonna put her through the fucking wall.
Our long national nightmare is over. Lucas Tyson has finally fucked.
He finally fucked. Thank God.
Finally nutted. Make sure it's not a load bearing wall. That's all we ask.
Damn.
Yo, I'm tripping. I can't even find this song right now. But I'll tell you what. I'll make a little. You guys be looking for like content and shit. I'll make you guys a little playlist. Remember that? Remember that shit from way back when?
Cloud Tunes.
Cloud music to cop clothing to.
No. Music to wait in line to cop clothing to.
Yeah. I got you. I'll take care of you guys. A little mini mix. You know what I mean?
Hey. All right, Lucas. We want to allow Chuck to redeem himself. We're all about redemption here on this podcast. And Chuck earlier fucked this whole shit up and threw off the whole timing of everything. I don't know. We've been blazing through it all, but we want to throw it to him in 30 seconds of thirst, where we're going to give him the mic. He's going to ask you anything, pitch you on something. Maybe as a suggestion for you, Chuck. Go ahead, buddy. You're up.
Lucas, I usually have like some journalistic Walter Cronkite shit type of question, but Lawrence and James are pros, and they got most of it. You mentioned that you would like to buy a car and a home. What's your dream car, and what is your like dream home look and smell like?
So, I mean, the vision right now. I don't know if you've ever been to the neighborhood Vinegar Hill before.
Ooh,
but
very.
I would like a little house in Vinegar Hill, maybe next to Vinegar Hill House, an amazing fucking restaurant. A little cobblestone ass street. This is literally like a 6-block neighborhood. This just tiny as fuck. Vintage.
You go to the Fort Greene. You go to the Fort Greene projects and make a right.
Yeah, Farragut houses exactly. And I would like a little house in Vinegar Hill. And I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. I'm not a supercar guy. It's like, for me, it's more aesthetic kind of oriented shit than being like, oh, let me tell you what engine and what year or whatever. But nice little vintage Porsche, something light. Something light. Gotta be 2-seater. Definitely something fast.
Can you fit in one of those shits?
We gonna find out.
You got to do. You got to be like Don Cheadle in Black Money. You get the fucking Lamborghini limousine.
Ooh, yeah, no, it's definitely.
Stretch Coutintosh.
Yeah, my whole family is definitely tall as fuck, and it's a tradition that we be having some tall as fuck people squeezing into some sports cars. So that's me. That's how it's gonna pop off. And I'm gonna say, Chuck, as far as the smell goes, I think my favorite family of scents is anything cedar oriented, that's like a little bit of woody, a little smoky, that's my favorite. Like incense over candles, over room spray, shit like that. Because that's also part of the ritual, you know what I mean? Let's light it up. Yeah, light it up, smoke it, pass it around.
Legalize that shit, dog.
Hell yeah.
Big smacks.
Chuck, thank you. You can go back on mute now. All right. Lucas, we want to play a super quick fuck with, not fuck with.
Working title.
Still working title. We're just going to run through a few categories, throw some categories at you. Tell us what in those categories you're fucking with and what you're not fucking with. First up, brands. What brands are you fucking with at the moment?
Man, I have to tell you, I mean, like I mentioned, all the Panthers family, always, that's always going to be in the backbone of my shit. 18 East has truly been the shit that's popped up and really kind of changed up for me. All the gear is so fire. And I really like that they kind of push that they're made in India. All the fabrics are made in India too. Because a lot of people be on some racist bullshit with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely 18.
Made in the USA.
Yeah, exactly. All that fucking horse shit. Sean Crawford, anything he puts out is fire.
Yeah, shout out Sean, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, he's that dude. It's I got a couple of his. That was actually what kind of kicked off me buying hats again. Was I copped his that Mecca Mouse shit he was doing.
Right. Real graph legend.
Well, like I mentioned already. There's this dude Sean Brown who we put out. He's that dude who made those. The rap album rugs and shit,
He's in Toronto. I used to work with him a bunch at Complex. He did the bomber jackets with the one sleeve that was a different fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fire. Shout out Sean.
The shit that he did that really kind of caught my eye was I remember Corey Stokes posted it was a tote bag with all these different videos or stills from Hype Williams videos. Yeah. I was like, ooh, this shit is fire. And
he's been doing really interesting things for a minute. And those the CD rugs that just came out.
That shit is fire.
What brands are you not fucking with? Let's get hateful real quick.
Man, any brand that first of all, okay, it's they shut down Jeffrey, right? And I remember when I was 23, young and dumb as fuck, I went there and I bought my girl a Chanel purse. And
really?
Yes.
At 23?
23, because I was like she holds me down. I was I said, I was young and dumb and shit. I want to do something nice.
Young, dumb, and full of cum, dude. That's
for really real. And so I bought the Chanel purse there, and these motherfuckers left a tag on it. And they searched, they fucking brought me back. They accused me of stealing and shit. They had to unwrap the whole gift set, whatever. And then they finally realized it was their error and they didn't even apologize to me. So fuck Jeffrey. Rest in piss, yo. That's what you get for being dickheads. R.I.P. Rest in piss. But yeah, any of these brands, like honestly, like the biggest thing I've been seeing is like I can't even think of specific ones, but it's just like everybody's like posting their little Black Lives Matter fucking Instagram posts, and everyone who worked there was like, actually, my Black life didn't matter when I worked there.
This you?
Yeah. Oh, that's been the most majestic part of quarantine is the birth of this you. Like, and it's like, honestly, like, watching all those brands. So any brand that be on some performative, like, oh, we love Black people, except for, when they're in our store.
Except for paying them.
Yeah, or paying them equally or any of that shit. Like, so
and it's especially egregious when the brand is like built off like Black culture.
Yeah, 100%. It's like I've been seeing too much of that. So it's been real glorious to watch people just eat shit and get called out for their bullshit. But yeah, so anyone who's trying to like just hop on for the little PR moment can go fuck themselves. Like we're not with that shit.
It's different this time.
Yeah. No, it's real.
Hopefully. Again, that's the paradigm shift. Let's make it permanent, right? Like let's progress.
Don't forget.
Exactly. Don't forget. Lucas, your sneaker rotation right now, you mentioned a bunch of the Bostons. You wore some fresh ass new Nikes to a protest recently. Just talk us through your current rotation and then what else besides Gucci loafers are in your post sneaker world situation?
Yeah. So I got those tie-dyed ACGs are fire.
Those are gas, by the way.
Yeah, they're so hard. I was like, I got them. I was so happy with them. And I'm out towns dude. So I got the Pro Cell Forces. I got the old West Indian joints. Like, I don't know if you remember those shits from I think they're like 2001 or 2002 or whatever. Dude. Yeah. The other thing I really fuck with is Tailwinds. Tailwinds are fire. That's one of my favorite.
Interesting.
I love that.
That's a bit of a underrated joint. I feel. Right?
I could not fucking believe how underrated that shit was. To be honest with you, like people slept on those crazy, and they kept putting out amazing colors too. So I'm fucking with the Tailwinds. That's pretty much just like
GR Tailwinds, not like undercover. They freak the Tailwinds, right? With the fucking, I hate those with the shit in the back. But you're talking about standard racer.
No. That's
the Air Max ones, right?
Yeah. They're like Air Max Tailwind 4.
You called mine the Jail Winds, Lawrence.
Yeah. There's another Jail Winds. That's the Australian shit right there.
Not the OG, which is like more of like a waffle runner. You're talking.
Yeah. Not the 70s style.
Tailwinds. Yeah.
The Jail Winds.
Yes.
Air Max. Yeah. Those Air Max. My fault. Air Max Tailwinds. Those are fire. The 4s.
The OG color went on sale. Like those.
Which is crazy, yo. And it's crazy because I absolutely cooked my pair too. I could probably get another one for cheap. And then honestly, shout out to my new Hokas because honestly they've been game changers. But old reliable New Balance, man, they've been putting out some fucking fire. Like even just classic like 990s never really go wrong. Like 993s are crazy good. And I got a pair of their trail runner shoes that have been like game changer for me. Like the Fresh Foam shit, because it's like I don't really fuck with, like, for a little while we was on like Boost or whatever, but I don't really fuck with Adidas like that.
Right.
And that's pretty much it for sneakers.
What about the post sneaker shit? So you got the fresh Gucci horse bits.
Yeah, the Gucci horse bits. That's been a good one. And then I have randomly like some Balenciaga joints. It's like
really?
It's like. My
Balenciaga?
No. Like, so my favorite thing to do is like, I don't like to buy like the trendy designer shoe. You know what I mean? Like, I like to buy the shit that's like a couple seasons back because it's like you'll have less people fucking with it. Like, there's like they put out this like slip-on shoe with like that kind of blistered leather on top and like some like crazy cream colorway. Oh, that's the one right there. It's like I got a couple pairs of those.
In a 15?
Yeah.
You have a couple pairs?
Like, 2 pairs. So I was like, because I'd be on the hunt, you know what I mean? I'll find something that I like, and then I'll be like, fuck it. If it works, I'm going to get it in a couple colors, And then the Birkenstocks. And obviously, like, Wallabies are always, always going to be hard. Like, but it's like, it's tough because it's like, a lot of that shit doesn't come in my size, like a lot of like the kind of just a little more interesting shoes or whatever. But that's always been big for me. Obviously Timberlands, like that's the other one, the little Timberland boat shoe with the lug sole. That's a classic for me. Like that's the 3-eye lug sole joint is like the
that's the 18E signature. Antonio Trongoli special, baby.
Yeah. No, those are tough, and like and you can even make custom colors in them shits now too, which is also dope. Yeah. So it's like you can freak them a little bit.
Any sneakers or shoes you're not fucking with?
Yeah, maybe something popular that's everywhere right now that you're
that everybody fucking loves. I mean, honestly, Yeezys, man. Like, I know it's like popular to hate on that shit, but it's just honestly, I feel like Kanye really had it for a while. Like, he really had that shit. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, he made Adidas more popping than Nike. You know what I'm saying? Which is like insane.
Jumped over the jump man.
Yeah, literally. You know?
Facts.
It's like all the Yeezy shoes just look fucked up to me now, and obviously I wouldn't wear them either because he was like wilding and shit. But Yeezys, all the new Yeezys ugly. I went to Complex Con in 2018, and that ruined like the Virgil Nikes for me. That shit was like heartbreaking stuff. You know what I mean? Like really, really rough to see. The same pair of limited edition Nikes 1,000 fucking times over again.
Yeah. How limited are these?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you work in the industry, this shit it's bullshit. It's like there's unlimited supply. It's just like they just make it a pain in the ass to get. But yeah, like that's the shit that's been ugly. I mean, obviously, like most designer sneakers, like Triple S was like a fucking catastrophe. Oh God damn! I seen someone at the protest in Triple S's.
No,
I know. Yeah,
facts. That's a weapon. That's a weapon.
It's a cop stomper.
Bro, I could not believe it, but it's like not like any sort of basically any front of the trend designer sneaker is going to be horrible. Like it's like it's just like all trash, like all trash.
All right, Lucas, let's move on to a category that is actually important. What Black Lives Matter organizations or causes are you currently fucking with?
Yeah, well, I want to say there's one specific cause that I want to call out. It's called Decolonize This Place. You all should follow them on Instagram because they're really about that shit. But basically, like, in my short experience of this, these last couple of weeks, like, you basically, like what we were talking about like the money and shit that you're donating to organizations, like you got to do your research on like who's leading these protests because, we was at Barclays and like we're walking, we're marching, curfew's on and cops aren't fucking with us. And it just feels kind of off. And like I found out it was run by these people who were essentially collaborating with the police. They were originally called like the de-escalators, which is, not what this is about. You know what I mean?
That's a whack name also.
I was gonna say, sounds trash. Like the shittiest rap group of all time.
No bars, no hits. You know what I mean? But like
zero slaps.
Zero slaps, but Decolonize This Place is really about that shit. Like, and it's not an aesthetic for them. They've been about this forever before this started. The information that they put out is not this like weird, like, oh, like we need 72% less police violence. You know what I mean? They're like, no. Capitalism is based in racism, and it needs racism to exist. Like they're really about the shit.
Capitalism is the DNA of racism.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's like if you're gonna follow one person, like I would definitely say Decolonize This Place is definitely the one.
It's like we were saying this. It's like, yo, when you go to these on the protest real quick, because if anyone is looking to protest, do the research and go look at who's organizing it. Yes. It's like a Russian bot. If they have two posts and they've 116 followers and they're trying to organize a protest, like
joined in June 2020, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's like just like look into who's
or if it's a model who's in New York for casting and just bought a Tango beret yesterday.
That guy, that motherfucker.
Yeah, how about this? How about the guy crowdsourcing his first Tango beret? That's
right? Yeah, so definitely, like, honestly, they're official. Everything that they do is official, And then the other thing too is, like, to be honest with you, even beyond organizations, like the person shit is where it's at, where it's just like, yo, like some specific person is in trouble and needs help. Like that's when it's time to like reach out, So like kind of develop your network to the kind of people that are going to be like in tune to that thing. You know what I mean? And that's like a good example where it's like, yo, shout out Hassan, shout out Eric, these people who have kind of taken their platforms.
Phil Chang.
Yeah, Phil Chang, he's another one, like, where it's just like, and Phil's been on that shit for a minute too. Like, he's always been like,
he's about it. He's bullshit. So about it. Yeah.
Yeah. You look at his Instagram story, it's always like, da, 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 but it's always like some good shit. You know what I mean? So it's not like a waste of time to be watching it. So, identify those people, and they might be in your circle. They might be just like kind of whatever kind of popping people, but like find these people who are like really about shit and see what they talk about, and let that be like your starting point for making your own kind of views and, figuring out what to contribute to, because it's not going to be, you can't just expect them to do all the work for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
But those people are going to be the good starting point for you. You know what I mean?
All right, Lucas, before we kick you out of here, we just want to offer up some constructive criticism. You're doing amazing, sweetie. We love everything you're doing and legit inspiring. However, we think you could maybe kind of sort of be doing better.
Okay.
So we're going to offer up some constructive criticism from the brain, from the heart, from the groin. First up, kill a cop.
Yeah.
Okay. Done. Say less.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I wouldn't just say kill 2 cops, but how about you teach us how to DJ? I feel like, we could use that element in our repertoire to continue to push forth the kind of message that our platform necessitates, but we need some more skills. And James and I have nothing but free time, Lucas. So
yeah. I got you.
Yeah, we can even pay you by the hour, doggy.
Yeah, no, I'm trusting you.
I'm trying to drop that rage, bro. I'm trying to drop that rage against the machine.
All right, next up, obviously you're doing amazing things in the digital space. Why don't we move this to the physical? Why don't you open up an underground revolutionary club / activist space? I'm talking Black Power by day, Lady White by night.
I mean, I didn't want to announce it on the show or anything. I was fucking with you. No. I mean, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Like in opening my own spot has been, I don't want to say a dream, but like a goal for a while. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, it would be like the front of house would be like store, cafe, community center, and then the back will be a venue. You know what I mean? So I've been doing the research on that for a while. I've been talking to like the few above board rather club owners I know who are not scummy and will give you like the real talk. And so it's slowly in the works. Like, if you know anyone who has the bag, if you'd like to, like you got the George Soros plug, like.
But the wheels are turning. This is something that you've considered that is not a Coke dream. This is a real thing.
No, 100%. Trust me. I've been doing the research, and it's a long and slow process. But I feel like after everything, basically all businesses are being fucking devastated in New York. So there is going to be real estate. So it's like
that's a fact. Jack.
Finding the right spot.
Quick addendum to my point of constructive criticism. Include a podcast studio in that space that we've placed upon the pod.
Done.
Yes.
Say less.
And
the fits are thrown. Say less. The throwies in the building.
Throwies. And then finally, you talked about front of house, having some merch. We should do, and I'm going to throw the gauntlet now. I don't know what this looks like. We should have this conversation, but not only do we want you to help us just sell fire merch so that James and I can actually truly retire and cop a Lamborghini helicopter for But maybe we link up and we do some type of charity. See, I know you have your next joint already cooking up, the extremely profane John that you mentioned before. But I mean, let's double down on the profanity. Let's see how that does, and maybe we do a joint effort. I feel like both of our audiences, they want to be galvanized. They're looking to thought leaders, all of which who are on the Zoom right now. We can get it popping, bro. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm with it. No, honestly, I know we spoke about it the last year when we were on the pod, but I would love to do some merch with you guys for real. I think we could do something big for charity too. I know I called it out already, but I really, really respect and appreciate what you guys have been doing.
Thanks, bro.
So I would definitely love to combine forces because we can hit them twice as hard, baby.
Yes.
Voltron.
Yes.
You know what the fuck. Yeah, Chuck jumped through the screen
let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Guys, he threw up both fists.
I know the time for brainstorming isn't right now, but I'm thinking mood board is that scene in Black Mirror where the Prime Minister fucks a pig. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. How can we make an animated
That's
t-shirt?
a 2-pack of Smacktion.
Yeah, it's it comes with drugs.
In the hang tag.
Yeah, let's go. All
right, Lucas, is there any person, any organization, anything you want to shout out? Where can the kids follow you? Let us know that before we kick you out of here. Shout out and where can the kids follow you?
Yeah. So a little, I'm Top Shelf Tyson, one word. Instagram, Twitter. Some motherfucker on Twitch took Top Shelf Tyson, which makes me physically ill.
No.
So if you want to see some DJ live streams, that's Top Shelf Tyson NYC. And yeah, like shout out to my people, you know, shout out Rob, shout out Herb, shout out Aaron, shout out Addy, shout out Noor, shout out Tenzing, shout out Isla, you know, all my fam and folks, shout out Brianna, B4 Records. You know, it's a family affair, baby. And shout out, most importantly, shout out you guys for having me on this show.
Hell
you know,
yes,
the kings in the squad. Appreciate you.
Kings stay kings.
Yeah.
All right, Lucas, thank you
Appreciate
for coming on to the only podcast that matters. Chef, I'm going to need you from Princeton, New Jersey to hit that motherfucking outro music, baby.
School couldn't wait till I got out of class. You stare at the clock and shit. Before all this rap shit, I was gang banging and doing high speeds on the cops and shit. And I'm straight from the shop, but I ball like a king up in Cali and shoot like Stojakovic. Keep applying that pressure, I go on the run. It ain't no letting up, ain't no stopping it. Had to tell my little brother to chill, gotta stay in the house, come outside, he be popping shit. You ain't heard about us? Well, you need to go watch the news, niggas know we be dropping shit. Got the feds on my ass in the hood, cause they think I'm the one who been banning them Glocks and shit. I'm just focused on music, they say my last tape was a classic, but I got some hotter shit. I be rocking the show, or if I'm not up in the studio, I'm fucking this cash off. Don't you know Polo G skinny tall with the dreads, the little nigga be rapping his ass off. Yeah, I heard she got surgery, still wanna clap from the back just to see if her ass off. Go like hardwood rocks, we blast off. Tried to throw us some bullets, but we made them fumble like, no, you ain't getting that pass off. Been a block, now I'm taking my mask off. Hit the gas like you racing speed off in them foreigns and leave tire marks on the asphalt. It's gonna be RRP once your ass caught. He like front, we knocking his cap off. The other day, a new chain or a Mac ball. All this ice got me free.